hear myself through my headphones. Yes, man. Like, I feel real good about this right now.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely.
Hey, I'ma just be honest right now. I fucked up, you know. I had a blunder. That was a very fast use of profanity too. Like it ain't even like 30 seconds yet though. I hope you're good with that, sir, because they do come out on this podcast. So
I was gonna ask you, am I okay to cuss?
Yeah, you are.
Okay,
100%.
good.
Right.
Yeah.
So I made a blunder. Before we even introduce our guest, I need to. So we were reading an all nav last week, right? Yo, Tish, I'm so bad. Like I gotta really pull myself to the carpet on this one, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause I really messed up, man. We were reading the all nav last week, and I thought I got y'all. I thought I got the Navy. I thought I got the people that write these damn all navs and NAVADMINS. And I thought I caught a mistake. Whew, boy, was I wrong.
It wasn't one?
No, yo. And I kind of want to blame you and Paul a little bit for not helping me out.
Though.
Yo, so it said, so I got it right here, matter of fact. I had to dig it out the trash because because when I looked at it online, I'm like, nah, let me go grab it on paper. So it says, it cancels all nav 02422. And I'm thinking I got the Navy. I'll go to NAVADMIN 02422, and it's nothing about sexual harassment, right?
Right.
And and then I bring it up, and then y'all go to NAVADMIN 02422, and it's nothing about sexual harassment. Then one of our listeners in the comments says, "Hey man, they changed it," and I'm so glad that y'all believe in us that much that you just didn't say, "Yo, you rogue as fuck, Damo." He said, "Hey man, they changed it, and now it is about sexual harassment reporting." I'm like, it's no way the Navy went back and changed a 3-year-old all nav, right? So then I go to all nav 02422, and it's about sexual harassment reporting. And then I say, dumbass, why the fuck were you going to NAVADMINS? So I go back to the NAVADMINS. We were all going to the NAVADMIN and not going to the all nav. All three of us.
To the all nav.
Nope. We all went to the NAVADMIN. Unless the Navy pulled a little switcheroo, right under our eyes. But I don't think
had to.
I don't think they did that. No, we were wrong.
Unless they changed it to the right one.
Because I got the copy. The reason why I'm confirming this, because this is the copy that I printed out.
This is the copy that you looked at.
And it says that I printed out. It says all nav.
So is it that when you click on it, it pulls up the all nav?
I clicked on it.
Shit.
We were just wrong. And I feel like the apology got to be as big as the disrespect. To the NAVADMIN guys out there, I apologize. I was going to use ChatGPT to help with the apology. I didn't. I manned up. I manned up. I'm standing on business. I got to stand on it. We don't have sound effects. We're using a brand new app to record, so we don't have sound effects. I think I was digging in the Navy shit for 6 minutes. This is only a 3-minute apology. I don't got 6 minutes to dig. But hey, y'all, I am sorry. I'll put myself on a firing line. Please, please, please forgive me. I will never disrespect the Navy in that way again. Also, I'm not reading NAVADMINS on this damn podcast for a while. Anyway, and that don't got nothing to do. Hey, that don't got nothing to do with that. That got more to do with, I think most social media, Navy social media sites shut down right now or something. I'm hearing all that stuff. I don't know. I'm hearing that stuff. So on the safe side, we just not going to post I'm not reading NAVADMINS verbatim, and I'm not posting it on social media the reading on that. We'll still talk about it. Can't nobody stop us from talking about it. It's not an official DOD product, but I'm not reading them shits verbatim. Y'all not. I ain't doing that.
You said you weren't going to read it verbatim, but then you read it verbatim.
Who reads them verbatim?
Me.
Damo.
And then I still make mistakes.
It's so hard to read those things. We're in 2025. We could do better than that text format.
It's so hard to read them. It's so hard. And when GAO made a report and they was getting on our ass, right? So GAO made a report recently about maintenance on ships, right? Cellular land maintenance on ships. And they was just getting in the Navy at shit, right? I promise I ain't gonna keep cursing like that, Mom. But they were just getting on our ass. And What happened? Oh, they had the paper document. They had like pictures, and they had a video of it, and they did a podcast. Like that's what we need to start doing. NAVADMINS, like paper, pictures, some kind of video chat, and we talked about that on like a couple episodes ago. Actually, like have some kind of video chat where you're talking about it. I do like the fact sheets though. The fact sheets ain't bad.
Yeah, those are cool. Yeah.
All right, hey. No further ado, let's get this done right for the listeners. Like, man, like a highly requested guest that we got. Like people hitting the DM. Hey, y'all should get the People Suppo on. Y'all should get Baller on. Y'all should get Lieutenant Commander Ball on. Like, oh man, it's been happening a lot, and I'm happy that we could kind of get you in as fast as we were able to. Because sometimes it's hard for us, and sometimes it's hard for our guests. So no sound effects, y'all. So I don't got the clap sound effects and nothing for this episode. But hey, Lieutenant Commander James Ball. What up? Yeah.
Thank you for having me, guys. Yeah, I'm really honored to be here. I've been a big fan of your podcast. I think I found you guys like last summer, and it's been refreshing to see like a cool podcast like you guys and bring information, but in a cool way to the Navy. That's kind of easy to understand. But like I was saying, like not everybody reads the all navs and messages, but you guys are able to kind of synthesize it and get it out to like larger audience. So it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, and it's cool to be stupid. It's cool to like stupidly read through these. Like, hey, we don't get this either. Like, you know,
right? Like it makes you relatable. You know what I'm saying? You're authentic. That's what I like about it.
Yeah. So I made So we just had a JB on the pod. Like 2 episodes ago, right? So I'm probably gonna say suppo, baller. I don't know. I'm gonna just say whatever comes out my mouth. It's gonna be respectful.
You're all good.
Yeah, but we just had So I'm wearing an NFL hat, right? I'm wearing the Eagles Conference Champions hat right now, which is rare, Tish, because I never wear any gear with like logos that's like licensed or nothing like that. I looked it up before I did it. I'm able to wear it because I'm not going to talk about football or the NFL or nothing like that, except for like right now. But I made an exception this week. I made an exception for the Eagles. It's going to be real bad if we don't win. You know what I'm saying? It's going to look real bad because the episode come out Monday. So it's going to be real bad. Shit. Yeah, the episode come out Monday. So it's going to be, if we win,
the game
I'm a genius. The game on Sunday.
I want both teams to win, though. I'm like torn on this. I don't know who to root for. Because like Commanders, like that's kind of a cool story.
Yeah.
And the Eagles, I like Jalen Hurts and Saquon.
Yeah.
So,
I
don't know.
It's funny because I thought LA, I'm one of the people that thought like the NFL would be like conspiracy theories sometimes.
It is. It's scripted, 100%.
Yeah. So I thought LA was going to win because of the fires and all that. I thought LA was going to make it, and win, but I guess not. But it just happened so many times. I think same year as Katrina or the year right after, the Saints won.
Did really well. Yeah, they won.
Yeah, I think after like September 11th, the Patriots won. You know what I mean? Like it's a couple different things that happened.
The Yankees won.
Yankees won. So. So I'm making an exception today. I'm going to be real stupid if the Eagles lose, and I'm going to be a genius if the Eagles win. So that's that. Like I said, I got a bunch of randoms. And like even with football, man, like, so I don't watch football. I follow it a little bit, but I don't watch it. So like, I go to work and people be like, hey, Jones the third, bro. Jones, like, I don't know who that was. Like, hey, Jones the third. Did you see that catch? Did you see that? The roughs, like, I'm like, yo, dude, nah, man. Like, no, I didn't.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. But I do know who Saquon is. I do know who Hurts is. So let's see how that works out. All right, I'm gonna get right to it. Hey, Tish, what's up with you? How you doing?
Good. I'm good. Living life, trying to survive all these fires out here in SoCal. But other than that,
crazy.
We good.
Yeah. What about you, JB?
I'm good. I'm just doing house remodel stuff all week. Yeah, just ready to get my house back, man. It's my whole second floor, so it's my kitchen and my living room. Like we have a 3-story townhouse, like by the beach, and so like my whole second floor, that's where I spend all my time. It's been like taken over for like the last month, so I'm ready to get them out. To get the fuck out of here. I like you guys, but it's time to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I see you sitting in front of the Jordan wall. Like I can't help but notice that's the J wall, right?
Behind you. Yeah, that's the J's. I got like 1, And then I kind of worked my way over to like the 13s.
Yeah.
I'm like a 1 through 13 guy.
Yeah, and you showed us the room. Yeah, everything after that, it get kind of weird, right?
Yeah, I don't mess with that.
The ones that still be coming out like in 2025. Like it's like,
yeah, I don't need a performance basketball shoe. I'm good.
Yeah, and you know the difference in the people. Like yo, if you wear like the Jordan's 20s, man, like it's a different type of Jordan that I'm talking about with you, man. You know what I mean? Like it's a different type of person. If you wear the Team Jordans, man, like it's a different type of conversation. You're not wearing Jordans, dog.
I tell this, like I can tell a lot about a person by the shoes on their feet.
Yeah.
A lot. Like that's like my first. Usually, like to be honest, as a sneaker guy, it's my first impression of a person. Are they clean or are they dirty? What brand? Like, and I kind of get a good feeling without even talking to them.
Yeah, like I see people that be having Jordans on, but like they not J's. You know, like they Jordans, but they not J's, man.
No, I don't. I'm nice to them. I'm like, oh yeah, those are nice. Yeah, but like, unless they try to come at me with something, I'm like, well, bro, you wearing Team Jordans? Like, what's up? You got those at pay. Those were at the outlets.
Yeah.
Those are outlet Jordans.
Yeah. Those are kind of get my kids.
Yeah. They're good for kids. They're good for kids. They're good for kids.
Shut up. Shut up. We're getting some sneakers.
You're going to get these Team Jordans that you're going to tear up.
Yeah, but it's cool. I used to I always made it a point to like not wear my uniform to like the ship and stuff. So I wore like my civvies, and I'd always wear like different sneakers. But like you'd be amazed on the connection you make with sailors when they're like, "Oh, Suppo wears freaking Jordans or Yeezys or whatever I be wearing," and it's just like a good conversation, like segue.
Yeah.
Because like everybody like E1 through whatever, like if they like sneakers, you already got like a bond. And it's like something to talk about. You're approachable. Like that's why I always kind of did that. So that's why I like sneakers, because it like we cannot be like the same in any other way, but we like sneakers, we like the same ones. Then we're united and we can talk about stuff. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's what I like most about sneakers. Yeah,
it's a good starting point. I used to like compete. I try to compete with the young sellers on the ship with like sneaker offs. Like, hey, every day you do, every day, they like, man, you a chief. You a chief, man. You got the cheat code. Like,
that paper a little different.
Then they running that gold up. They running gold up. Like you making them installments, man. You making installments on 2 different pair of sneaks, man. You gotta stop.
On a firm? Yeah, a firm app.
Yeah. Making them affirms on 10 different. We gonna have to give you some counseling to the second, man. You can't keep up. You know what I'm saying?
One of the OCMCs was a sneakerhead. Chubbs, he came on the show.
Yeah, Chubbs.
He's a big sneakerhead too.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in the Navy are sneakerhead, especially like supply. Like all the CSs and like RSs, they like, most of them are really big sneakerheads. So like instantly, like I'm already like the guy if I have like a cool pair of sneakers on. But I like it, man.
That's why PQS for supply on the PQS.
Gotta be fresh, man.
I don't know where they put them all in their berthing though, because like when I was like E5 living in a berthing, like I didn't really bring shoes. Like I brought like 3, like a workout pair and like 2 Liberty pairs. Yeah. But I wasn't trying to get my stuff stolen. I didn't have a lot of room. Yeah. But they'll have like 12 pairs. I'm like, where are you putting all these? Like.
Yeah, and eventually you outgrow your barracks room, so then you got to move to like an apartment or something like that. So you can the berthing's just kind of crazy. Like some people just
they leave them everything on top.
Yeah, they put them on top, and that ain't in accordance with the inspection rules. And you got somebody like me that got to come in there and be like, "Hey, you need to take them Yeezys off the top." And yeah. All right. So this week has been a rough, I'm going to say rough week. And a lot of people don't really understand why. And I'm going to explain it. First of all, I posted something yesterday and it said strange things are afoot, right? So I took that from like a movie that I watched, right? I didn't put nothing else there, right? It was really vague. Strange things are afoot. And people took this like post I made and they started going off, and it was all about like political stuff, right? Because I said strange things are afoot, right? And I really said it because I harken back to the time of COVID, and before I go there, I'm gonna say this: our podcast, Permission to Speak Freely, we plan to keep going as long as we could go. I don't know what happens. I know like whatever happens with like these other conversations, until somebody says, yo, you have to stop. And it's going to be met with a whole lot of resistance until somebody says, yo, I'm going to kill you if you don't stop. Then, I'm going. We're going. What Leonardo DiCaprio say, hey, we keep going. Like, we go. But all right, so I harken back to the COVID shit. And it was like, so things were being said to get done. And then people were just doing shit without asking questions like back to the people that's saying to do the stuff. And sometimes like they were wrong, right? Like, or they could have got some positive reinforcement on like, what does this really look like? So something like, so we were told to do something the other day and I didn't think that, like, I think the person misquoted what we were ordered to do, right? And just to be blatant, like, we got a new president. The new president got some new executive actions and things got to get done. The thing is, things got to get done like expeditiously, like tomorrow, today type shit. But so we were asked to do a thing and like the way it translated from what like the president's order said and what the marching orders we got, they were not the same, right? So we wound up kind of, I think, overdoing what we were asked to do. And I called and I'm like, yo, is this like this? These are not the same two. Oh shit, I'm not even recording. Damn, let me hit record. So I'm like, these are not even the same two things. Like, and I'll be a little bit more blatant. EEO and DEI are two completely different things. So when you tell somebody to remove all EEO, it's just kind of like this weird thing. So I asked the question and whether I got the answer I wanted or not, that's not really a problem for me. The problem for me was nobody was asking like the question. Like, yo, can we get some clarity before we just rip everything off the wall?
Right.
Were we talking about EEO or were we talking about DEI? And I think that happened with, and for the listeners and for you, Lieutenant Commander, I am not about to talk about politics, right? But I think that happened with like COVID when people were just doing shit. It's like, hold up, let's take a beat first. Yes, we were told to do it and we got to have it done by 16:45, whatever. Like, let's take a beat first and let's make sure we were told the right thing to do before we go do it, right? I don't want us to make the same mistakes again because I wasn't happy with, what happened with COVID. That's my first thing that's my first personal thing. I'm going to shut up in 1 second. My second personal thing is this. I don't talk about politics on this podcast, right? And I don't talk about politics on this podcast. And I probably won't ever talk about politics on this podcast. And I'm saying that for everybody that was starting to, because people were starting to comment under my post and it was super political. I don't talk about political things socially that much or publicly that much unless I'm talking to like a trusted group of people. And this is the reason why. Most people I know right now in today's time, they only see things like one way, right? And this based off my own personal thought and experience. They lean one way, and I'm going to just use these two terms, and I don't mean them politically. They lean left or they lean right. I don't see things one way, right? So it's something that this person could say that I like and something this person could say that I dislike. But we live in a time, for me right now personally, that if I say, hey, I liked this one thing this person said, they're going to say, oh, you love this person and you hate this person. No, that's not what I just said. I said I like this one thing.
That's been the goal, though. That's been the whole goal. But I think you got the people on the left and the right, but I think about 80% of the people are like in there, right? Like both ways. But you only hear about the 10%ers on the either side.
Yeah.
It's the way they're the loudest. And then, but I think you got more people like me. I consider myself like you. I go, either way. Like there's good and bad for both, right? And like has like a free thinker. But the problem is you got those 10%ers are the ones that comment.
Yeah, they the ones that use their voice on social media and places like that. And I don't do that because I already know that it's people that's like outing their family, man. Like, yo, you're not in my family no more. Like, so I'm not doing that because I'll say names because I'm not about to say nothing political. Trump could do something tomorrow and I could like it. You know what I mean? And like, I could be like, I like that Trump did that. Oh shit, you like fucking Trump. You know, and then he could do something the next day and I could not like it. Oh, you hate Trump, you're a Trump hater. Like you far, like you're a leftist. Like no, it's two different things. Yo, my homie Rao, like my boy Rao, like he about to get, depending on how things pan out. My boy, he got an opportunity to get income taxes now because he been paying child support. You know what I mean? That's cool for real. I like that for real. It's a couple dads out here. It's a couple dads out here that probably still don't deserve them taxes, you know? Mm-hmm. But it's two ways to see every single thing. But we live in this time where people see things. So if y'all don't hear me talk about politics, it's not because I'm scared. It's not because somebody controlling me. It's because I know that it's so divisive that you can't think like, you know, I got to liken everything to Drake and Kendrick. You know, Tish, it's things about Drake I like.
Really
it's things about Drake I don't like. It's things about Kendrick I like. It's things about Kendrick I don't like. But in this world right now, if I say the one thing I like about Kendrick, they're going to say, yo, you hate Drake. You Glazed and you don't know this, you know? So that's the reason that I don't talk about politics socially because I honestly don't know enough. I haven't studied that. Like I like to like really talk about things that I really, really know. Yeah. Like, let's talk about movies. Like
you bring up a great point. Is a lot of these people that talk don't know shit about politics.
Yeah. Right.
They take one like meme they see and they think they know like an expert now.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on.
We living in a meme. We living in like meme is the Bible. Like meme is what's directed. So, hey, I read every executive action. I read them all, every single one of them. I read them every day. I want to know everything that's going on, you know. And some of them I like a lot. Some of them I like a lot, and some of them I hate. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? But some of them I do like. You know what I mean? But again, I'm not about to get on no platform. And I got on the platform and said I had an issue with one part of a Tyler Perry movie. And somebody was like, he's a black director. You're black. Uncle Sam. No, I don't like, let me be honest. I don't like no fucking Tyler Perry movie. How about that? What am I at? You know what I'm saying? He's not really a good movie director. He don't write good movies. I don't like how he portrayed. Let me shut up. But yeah, so that's where I'm at when it comes to politics. And another thing I won't ever do is argue about it. I'm not arguing with you about politics.
Yeah. I feel like there's someone at work who tries to get people to argue politics with her. And I'm just not going to go there. Like she'll bring things up and it's just like, okay, like I'm not going to entertain this conversation with you. I'm not going to go there. You're not going to pull me down this rabbit hole. Because,
it's like a lure, right?
Yes,
and they're trying to reel you in.
Exactly. Because it started before the election when it was like, who are you voting for? But it was when Kamala first came out and said she was going to vote or whatever. And so she asked then. And so ever since then, it's just been I want to get you on my side. Yeah. And it's just like, I don't really want to be on any side. And so like the day after the election, she comes in and she's like, Trump 2025. And like, she's like, all like, she damn near had like a Trump banner, like, hey, like, here we go. Like everybody jump on the bandwagon now. And it's like, people still were just like I don't think whichever way it went, no one was going to come in like that. But she came in with the banner, damn near, like announce it to everybody. Yeah.
Are you working at a civilian organization now? Like
federal, yes.
Oh, okay.
Federal employee.
Yeah, it's different. It's different when you're like
different. It's
on
very
a base
different.
and stuff. You're like,
yeah.
You can't be doing that stuff.
Right. And I'm just, and everybody just kind of looking at her. Even the ones who, are on the same side as her are kind of looking at her like, okay, like, why are you trying to, what are you doing? It's so awkward because everybody's just kind of looking at her like, we all know what she's trying to do. So no one really like entertains the conversation. So it's just very awkward. And then she's in like some master's program Now they can, if anybody listening to it, then they know exactly who I'm talking about now. But she's in like this master's program, and
She
it's
wore
like
a green dress today,
right. So now it's like she feels like she's like the smartest person in the office now because she's in this master's program, and so she's like always trying to start conversations based off discussions that they're having.
Yeah.
So she's like pulling their.
Be like, relax, lady. This isn't the discussion board.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
you're
really
good.
not. Like, we really don't have to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I am just fine just talking about our cases that we work. And
don't introduce her to the pod. She gonna start bringing it.
She wants to be on. And I'm like, we don't really talk about stuff outside of the Navy.
She could come through. She could come. So I do want to say, I do want to tell, like, because, everybody like, yes, now it's the time to. I don't want to sound like I'm not taking some of these things seriously. So there's a lot of people saying, it's time to, kind of think about what we're going to say and talk to like young sellers and all of that. What I'm going to say is this, y'all, just stand by. Let's wait for whatever kind of marching orders we get, wait for whatever words we get, adhere to, whatever kind of words we get and let the chips fall that way. But also, like, nobody ever has to tell me how to treat a person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't need a directive on that. Like,
right.
I don't care about if taking like this policy off the wall means that like now I'm gonna like hate you, then I got a bigger fucking problem that I need to worry.
Right.
That I need to worry about.
Yeah.
I think our culture, like, to be honest, in the Navy though, you're talking about DEI, is that what you're talking about?
Not necessarily DEI, but just any
that thing.
Yeah, just any change that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like anything that's going to happen in the next, because a lot of things will happen, like the border thing. There's a lot of things that I read that might be happening.
Yeah.
You just got to be patient. Not necessarily DI. Not necessarily DI.
Yeah, because I was like, culture in the Navy, like, I think we're just been, I've been in 19 years. Like, it's changed a lot since when I first came in till now. Mm-hmm. And to turn a culture around is like, doesn't happen like that because of a piece of paper or somebody signed something. It's just, I think we're in a good place right now, and it's gotten a lot better and will continue to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the last time there were people who kind of showed their true colors, I would say. And so that was kind of nipped in the bud, and I'm hoping that like remains the same, where people kind of like act in accordance with and treat your brothers and sisters the way that you're supposed to, and not, try to turn radical because the world is turning radical. I feel like there was a lot of situations where people thought they were a civilian for a quick second.
Especially on like social media, like, you that man,
right? Right, like we don't rock like that in the military. That's one of the things that I love about the military is like at the end of the day, we fighting together. We're fighting one war together, and we're not
we're an apolitical organization.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
That's why like I'm an officer, so it's different. Like I can't talk about political like legally.
Yeah.
Because I'm appointed by the president. So it's like it's much different for me. So like I was like we went over some like training in 2020 when the election came over, like in the wardroom. Yeah. And I was like, I'm just not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna put a sticker on my car. I'm fine. Like either way, I'm gonna execute the orders that we're supposed to do.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So unless you're gonna get out, unless you like, I'm out. I hate it so much. I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't agree. Yeah. But if not, then you're gonna execute.
I'm going to execute. Yeah.
Hey, what about that? No, well, before I go there, let me say this. I will stand on like this real quick. I don't like Elon Musk, man. I don't like that guy.
I don't like nothing but his car.
So and that's all. So the Teslas, I'm like, yo, these are cool.
I do like the Cybertruck. I'm weird. I like it.
I like the Cybertruck.
I
like it.
I like the Cybertruck.
Bulletproof.
Yeah, it's like some Blade Runner.
JP, first of all,
they do like a pebble at it.
I think you never know, man. I got some haters out there, right?
When they tested it out, wasn't it like, hey, it's bulletproof? Like, watch. And then they like shattered the glasses. Hey, it's bulletproof. Boom. Shit got fucked up. But yeah. So that's what I say, right? That's what I say. The cars, like when it, like I knew about the cars way before I ever saw him. And then I saw him and I'm like, damn, this dude's like a great dude, man, super smart, like real cool. Then I like heard him talk. Like, and then I was like, I don't like this dude. And then every time I heard him talk thereafter, it reaffirmed, like just me just not liking this guy.
Yeah.
Can I respect his grind, respect his mind, respect like his the ethics that he has when it comes to like being innovative. Yes, all of that stuff I do. But personally, and I know Steve Jobs wasn't really the greatest of people, but fortunately for me, I wasn't around to see, and I mean, as far as his personality, he had a lot of social issues and stuff, but I wasn't around to see that. So he like a hero to me. But this Elon Musk guy, man, like I could deal with never hearing him talk ever again.
He's unhinged too on like Twitter. He say whatever he wants. It's crazy. But you know what I am hoping, man? I'm like praying because he's like, that new like Doge entity about like government position, like efficiency and all that.
Yeah.
I think we really need that. Like, we really need some efficiency. So, like, I'm hoping. It's like I see the money, I see where it goes. Like, I'm a comptroller, supply corps officer, right? And so, like, just to see the amount like that, I feel like we waste.
Yeah,
and I feel like he could improve that. We could be a lot more lethal.
Yeah. What I will say about that, and I was telling my mom, is it's not a better person to appoint to that role than him because he can't be bought.
Yeah.
So that was like my thing with him, is he can't be bought. So he would be the best person to get that job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, like he's for the government though, and like we're just DOD, and like we're just the Navy within DOD.
Yeah.
So like I wonder where he's gonna tackle first, because there's a lot of departments, right? When you talk about like the government. So like I'm just hoping he like looks at the DOD like pretty quickly.
Yeah, it might. We might. We need somebody to look at something.
Yeah.
But what about that telework policy?
Ooh. See, that's got me sitting on pins and needles right now, because I telework twice a week. And I love my life right now. So that's not, I was like, listen, I told them, I was like, listen, whatever happens, like we need to figure out how we can get around it. I've been like, I was like, I see some exceptions to the policy. Let me go ahead and pull out my VA disability and see what I can justify up in here.
Yeah, let me tell you. So it's like, hey, EEO, right? It was DEI. Hey, DEI. Hey, go rip all EEO off the wall today by 1645. Hey, telework. Hey, we gonna wait this out. We gonna see. We gonna see what they really saying before we make a move. They said as early as practicable or some shit. So we gonna wait for practicable.
Listen,
take all those posters off the wall today.
We got 2 different emails, and that's exactly what it was. DEI gone. Telework. Stand by for more information.
I mean, from a personal experience, I teleworked a lot, and I was more efficient. Like, I'll be honest with you, I didn't waste an hour and a half getting ready, going to work, doing all that stuff, and I just don't see it as a bad thing.
Right?
Yeah, especially even for my role, and I remember I was saying like, damn, like. What can I do what can an SEL do teleworking? But man, it's so much paperwork you could get caught up on, emails, things that you can't do. Like, I can't do that stuff at the command. It's always
nobody's walking around your office bothering you, wasting time.
Yep.
Like, nobody coming there talking about the Eagles game Monday morning for 35 minutes.
Yeah,
right.
Yep.
That's just not happening, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And every conversation I have lasts a while. Number one is probably because I do a lot of the talking. I ain't gonna lie, But number two is that I think some people just don't know how to leave either. Because
that moment where it's like, how do I
get away from the command sequence?
Well, I say that's crazy twice. Time to go.
Yeah, right.
Wow, that's crazy.
You ever like?
I need you to go.
You ever like start like leaving, like backing out, and the person's still talking? You like them out the room?
Yeah. Yeah, some people just have that awkwardness where it's just like lingering, where they keep saying stuff, and you like, okay, I'm done talking now.
Look at your watch. A couple quick things too before we really kind of get into it is shout out to my command for getting installation excellence. I don't think we talked about it on the pod. I think we talked about it before we started. So shout out to them for getting regional installation excellence. So now we up for the CNIC installation excellence. So That's what's up.
Congrats.
That's good.
So that's for mid. You guys are NDW or Midland?
We are NDW.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
Yeah, NDW. So shout out to all the people that put in all the work for that. They asked me to do something.
That's like the elite, right? Like up there, NDW area. That's supposed to be the elite.
Kind of like, I mean, maybe.
you're going against OpNav and stuff. Like you're going against the Pentagon. You're superior to the Pentagon.
No. So OpNav is OpNav. I don't even want to take take that from them. I'm going against Camp David.
That's bougie. So if you beat them.
Yeah, and then
real good.
And then it's small installation. So then it depends on your installation size too. So we got it small. I think we got it small. We might have just got it.
Like Indian Head, Dahlgren, all that stuff.
Indian Head, Dahlgren, NSAW. Yep. The yard. And McPon live there, and we got it. We got the thing.
I'm saying?
We also talked about TikTok on the last episode. So we talked about TikTok on the last episode, right? And I was like, yeah, this was going to happen with TikTok. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. And then like right after that, like the complete opposite happened. So I'm like, yo, let me go back into the episode and just take that out because I really don't want to misinform people. Little did I know how wrong I was about the NAV, right? So I took out the TikTok thing. And then the very next day, the stuff that I was saying was going to happen with TikTok did happen. But I'm like, man, I don't like, so it's too much stuff happening. So I'm like, I will just wait to talk about TikTok until after like, I think May or something like that. When
we're going to give the telework and the telework approach. Like, we're going to wait.
Like, yes, wait.
More to come.
Wait. Yeah.
More to follow.
It's working again. I heard it's not in the App Store though. Like you can't download it anymore. Like you can't get it.
People are paying like thousands of dollars for phones with the app installed.
Wow.
Well, I wish I didn't uninstall it. I wish I never uninstalled it like 3 years ago. I should have just kept it.
I know someone at work said that they just go online and look at it.
Yeah, because it's an online app. It is online. Yeah. It's online. It's a site.
Okay.
I also heard if you put your phone on airplane mode, it was working when it was like down.
Yeah. Oh, so they could still like see whatever they were able to see until.
Yeah, like airplane mode, but then like in Wi-Fi. Or like, I don't know, something with like your location or something, like VPN type shit. I don't know.
Yeah, VPN.
I'm not smart at that type of stuff.
Yeah, people doing VPNs and all that, man. Just to get on it. Yeah, man.
I got friends that make a lot. I got friends that make a lot of money off TikTok though.
Yeah,
they make money.
And so I kind of feel it like they're taking their bread from them.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
I feel sorry for those folks.
And they worked like years to get that like following and all that. So like, it's kind of not that cool. But I mean, I don't do TikToks, but like, I get it though.
Yeah, anybody making like really good money off social media, I commend them. Even like anybody making really good money off podcasts, and I really commend them. But anybody making good money off social media, because that shit it's not easy. You stop doing it for a while. We missed like 11 days off of YouTube, so the algorithm is not on our side right now. You know what I mean? Like just because we didn't post.
That's how my Instagram is. It's like it started off like a fitness like Instagram. Like it's a lot of effort to like build it up to where you're getting money for like getting sponsors and all that stuff. So like if they took Instagram down, like that's like my business like on the side. Like I'd be mad. Like really mad.
Right.
Yeah.
And you got to feed the beast too. You got to post often. You got
all the time.
They don't play, man. And I tell people that like they don't play. Like you thinking that somebody don't have good content, or no, it's not that. It's that the floodgates are not open yet because you didn't do enough to get the algorithm open for people to even see your content. You got to keep going.
Yeah.
I've gotten those messages from like Instagram or Facebook, like, hey, tier 2, keep going, keep doing stuff. We're opening up your algorithm for more people to see you. But if you stop, that shit goes down pretty fast. You got to feed the beast.
Yeah.
Last thing,
shout out to all those people who are going through it right now and who have that income that's lost.
Yeah.
Or that sense of community too,
Yeah. And the last thing I got here is the NAVADMINS modernization. So NAVADMINS, well, it is two other, it is something else too, the COVID stuff. But the NAVADMINS modernization, ENavFit is dead officially, right? We knew that was coming. And then
ENavFit doesn't work? It's nothing?
It works by like May or something.
I never used it.
Yeah, because it always sucked, right?
Because the yeoman, like, they'd always be like, "Yeah, just send us the Word docs and we'll take care of it." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, it always sucked, but it's gone. It's gone. It's done. Finito. I think it's here until like May, and then it's like sunset, and then we supposed to get this new version of NAVADMINS. And check it out, we supposed to get it in January. It's the end of January, guys. You know, but I don't want to challenge again. I don't want to challenge these NAVADMINS.
NAVFit 98.
Yeah, it's gonna be like NAVFit 98 Alpha 32 or something like that. Version 32 or something like that.
Why are we still using the 1998 program?
Hey, it's working, I guess.
Yeah, they said they're gonna fix it a little bit. They're gonna tweak it a little bit, and we good to go.
They said if it ain't broke, don't damn fix it.
Matter of fact, you
going back.
You talk about an old program. You were Subbo. I was talking to Damon on one of our pods about FedLog.
Yeah, FedLog.
FedLog is still here, right? It's still
it's still a thing.
FedLog is FedLog, and it's funny because it's like Old Faithful, but like the operating system is horrible.
Yeah, you get it on a disc still, like a CD. Like you don't see CDs a whole lot anymore. They mail it to you to upload to like the new updates, like every like month or whatever.
Yeah.
So like I would get it as like Suppo because it's addressed to like Suppo, the supply or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would like get it every like quarter or whatever it was. And I was like,
they had it on my own shit.
CPUs without the disc anymore.
I know. So that was the hard part. So we had like, I don't know how like my LS senior chief did it, but like he just figured it out. I was like, okay, man, you got it. Like, but yeah, like they don't like have CDs. It's weird. I don't know.
I had it on my old ship, right? And I'm like, my last ship, I'm like, yo, how do we get on FedLog? They like, hey, you got to go in this folder. Then you got to go here. You got to pull up this RST. Then you hit this .exe. Then you pull this up. Then you sign in right here. And there's FedLog. I'm like, yo, I'm never going to remember this, first of all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you go look up a part and like 1,142 of those parts come up in that joint, man. But it's Old Faithful. I like FedLog a lot. I still like FedLog. It's trusted. And it gets the job done, but I think it's time to.
It's good if you don't have connectivity, but like what's better is One Touch. I know I'm getting too supply nerdy on here.
But One Touch is
the good, but like FedLog feeds One Touch.
For real?
But like you can't get on One Touch if you're like in River City though. So it's kind of Yeah, that's the only thing good about FedLog is like you can research a little bit without connectivity.
Yeah, unless you're a suppo and the captain really wants some shit fixed, and they like, hey, let's get that part.
You've been on a ship with Wi-Fi?
No.
My last ship, so my last two ships, but not like not like now. Like I haven't. So like now,
I like talk to people like your age about it and see if you have, because it's like a way different game.
I heard
like
it's crazy.
I remember like being on them without it, obviously. But then when I went on my last one with it, it was like a completely different Navy. Like, it was crazy. I was like, this is different, man. Like, I'm getting old. Yeah, it was wild.
I heard it's crazy out there. Like, I heard it's like, so I was on, like, my last ship had Wi-Fi, but we were in port and we were in the yards, right? So, you know, they turn it on, turn it off, you know. My ship, the ship I was on before that, the DDG I was on, we were underway, and it was because of COVID and all that. We got Wi-Fi like close to the end of our like, I think deployment, or maybe when we did our sell around. And man, I had a little fan room that I would go to that still had.
That's when it was busting too, because they paid a lot for that Elon Starlink, like the good shit. Yeah. So the 2020 ships, like the Tycoms, played a lot of money for that.
It was fast. My Wi-Fi was. I could do anything I wanted to do on it.
Yeah.
But like how is it now?
It has its moment. Like mine, I was on the Truman, and like they didn't have as many like antennas or whatever, like to like send the off and on, like or whatever. I think there was like 3, but like I heard like the Lincoln had like 7, and theirs was always like bumping. Or ours, depending, like sometimes it would get kind of like caught up, and then it would get lagged, and then have to like get all the data out before it can like come back in. But it was pretty good for the most part. They would do stuff though, like wardroom Wi-Fi, mess deck Wi-Fi, CPOMS Wi-Fi. Yeah. But then what happened is all the sailors just get all the passwords, and so like it's so it's like it's not any faster. Like if you know,
sailors they know everything, man. Like
All it takes is one IT to be like, yeah, the password's this, and then it's gone. Like,
yeah, they don't keep.
But yeah, it was cool though, because like, but you could. That bad thing is what I like. Yeah, like it was really good when I had it, but then I found myself get like real like moody when it was down. Whereas when I was on a deployment without Wi-Fi and there was no ability, like you didn't even think about it.
Yeah,
like I didn't carry my phone home with me. Like on my 2016 deployment, I didn't carry my phone with me because I was like, I just need it for my rack, for my alarm clock or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the expectations of you possibly having Wi-Fi would just, the morale swings. And you could, like, my job was always by the mess desk. So I walked through the mess desk and you could just see like if it was on or off by the morale of the sailors.
Dang, man. Yeah.
And it's also because like, you go prepare. So my 2016 deployment, I would prepare ahead of time. Like, yo, I'm not going to be able to like pay these bills or like do these things. I won't have the ability to do this type of stuff. Whereas like now I'm like, oh, I'll have Wi-Fi. I'll be able to do that like on my phone, whenever.
Yeah.
But so when that Wi-Fi doesn't happen and you're expecting to like pay a bill or get on your bank like app or whatever, like you can't. And then that's the problem.
Yeah. And then it's a generational mixture, right? Because like we grew up in a time where like you said, you on a ship, you're not connected to the outside world. But now most of the people coming up now, most young, it's sellers now that I'm getting that's 18, right? Most of these 18 people have never, like the iPhone came out in 07, right? So most of these, that's pretty much 18 years ago, damn near, right? So most of these 18-year-olders have never lived a life that didn't have, that they could recognize that didn't have Wi-Fi, internet, or some kind of phone. My mom was telling me my little nephew, who's like 13 or something, they like, him and his friends, they like fall asleep on the phone and like wake up still on the phone. Like they wake up still on the FaceTime. Like they all fell asleep on the face. I think it's like they don't like gaming or streaming. My mom, I don't think my mom just like know the real terminology, but I think they like streaming, fall asleep streaming, wake up, still say, "Hey, good morning, man." Like, are you up?
Yeah.
Like one time they were trying to like wake my nephew up because he was asleep. You know, like, hey, turn off to get off stream. Like they going to sleep, waking up streaming. That's all they know. And you know, a lot of these young people now, they don't know a life like we had where we got off that shit, where we went and we did something else. We played curveball. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you know, stuff like that. So it is going to be different.
Overall, I say it is good because like, you remember like you couldn't use a phone. Like if some shit really happened or somebody couldn't reach you, if some shit happened back at home or your family or whatever. But now, it enables, like, I think it's good, like, for the most part.
Something happened to me before during deployment, and I ain't know about it till after the deployment. We wasn't going to tell you while you was out there. We didn't want to stress you out. I'm like, y'all should have told me. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, so my last random topic before we get like a little personal about things is, what's y'all thoughts on these promises to bring back troops that like were removed for refusing COVID?
I don't think they want to come back. I think it's like, it's been 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I think they're like, yeah, I'm good. I mean, but if they do that whole back pay for 4 years, and let's say you're like an E6, I don't know, man. That's a lot, right?
Is a lot.
That's what I was about to say.
That's
like,
a big chunk at once that you could like do something with, right?
Like how long is my enlistment? How long can I enlist for? I do 2 years for that 400,000 that you owe me. Like I do 2 years for that 400, and I need it up front, man. You know
right?
Yeah. I need to see it. Yeah, the whole thing. I need it up front.
Yeah, man.
At that point, they're like, I don't trust you, motherfuckers. How am I going to get paid now?
Yeah.
You know,
I'm pulling up in a Rolls Royce truck to NDOT. I'm pulling up in the Cullinan.
I'm gonna have a Brabus and I'm parking the CO spot.
All right, so let's talk about you a little bit now. What made you join? Let's go straight to the beginning.
Yeah, so I joined in 2006 May, and I was 19, and so I was big into sports and like baseball particularly, and I put all my eggs in that basket. That's all. I thought I was going to be a pro baseball player. I almost was, to be honest. But it just didn't happen. And then I kind of lost like a sense. And I was just like going to like junior college or whatever. And I'm like at home and I'm like, man, like I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do in my life, right? And I kind of missed that like camaraderie. And like, 'cause I was always on teams and it was always like I had some kind of like like a team, right?
Yeah.
And like, I was kind of felt like the Navy or military was that. But what really made me join was one of my best friends I was hanging out with, like the year after high school. Like, he was bad off, right? And then he went to the Marines. And then I'm from like LA, like just north of LA. And I drove down to Pendleton at his graduation, and it was like this new human being. And I was like, holy shit, man. Like, you look good.
Yeah.
But I was like, I ain't about to join the Marines. Yeah, I can't do that. So I went to the recruiter, and I wasn't going to the Marines. The Army was so pushy, offering me all sorts of money. And I was like, yeah, they trying to get me blown up or something. I ain't about that. It sounded too good to be true. And then I was like, the Navy guys were just chill. And so my dad, he worked for NASA, he was like a mechanic. He wasn't like a astrophysicist. Like, he worked on the engines and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I could probably be good at that. So I became as an AM originally. So I thought I'd be like good because my dad was good at it. I thought I'd be good at it. I wasn't good at it. It was like the worst AM ever. I'm not very like mechanical. I don't really like to do it. Like, I feel like the people that are good at like those maintenance rates, they like to fix their cars and shit like that. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm not a guy that likes to like go get stuff and hustle. And so I was hanging out with this girl in the supply. She was at SK at the time, so LS. And then like, I was like, you guys got it pretty good. And so like, I just ended up kind of like, cross-rated to SK. Yeah. And then I was really good at SK. And then that's when I went to my first ship. I was in a squadron.
Yeah.
So am I going too fast? Like, did I just jump a bunch of shit? Okay.
What kind of ship was it though?
The USS Carl Vinson, CVN 70.
Yeah. So how was the AC in those spaces that she was working at? That AC was cranking in them supply spaces, wasn't it?
It always is, yeah.
That AC ain't no joke in them supply spaces.
Yeah. That's our goal, man. If engineering got good relationship with supply, like it's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the berthing was always nice. Cool. But yeah, so I did. So then I went to A school again in Meridian. Got out of that shit as quick as I could. Like, it was like self-paced. I was there like 3 weeks. Yeah. And then I got orders to the Carl Vinson, which it was a Newport News at the time, RCOH.
Yeah.
And so I showed up, like, my first ship was not how like I expected it to be. Like, I show up at like 11 o'clock. I got off the road and I'm at Huntington Hall, Newport News. You ever been there?
No.
Oh, God. It's like the middle of the hood. I think it's got a little better now, but like back then there was like crackheads all around there. There was like shootings, like, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, am I in the right place? And then some like first class comes out, like, oh yeah, welcome aboard, like all this shit. I'm like, wow, like this is crazy. And I was basically like a shipyard worker for like the first like year and a half. Then we moved on board and all that. And then I ended up kind of like picking up supply, like pretty good. Like I was like, it's kind of weird. Like, you don't have to be like the coldest, like you don't have to be like the smartest guy. You just have to be like the smartest person where you're at. So like, I'm not the super smart, but like I'm smart enough to be pretty good in supply. And so I ended up just like, and I had work ethic and like, it just kind of like, I just liked it. Cause like, I was like the guy, like, you know, like engineering needed a part, like the engineer match, he'd be like, yo, Ball, I need you, man. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm Ball, I'll get your shit. And I'm like, you know, whatever. And like, you know, I was just that guy. So I kind of like supply. And then getting through that first ship, like E1 through E5 was not very easy for me. Like, that was like the hardest. I tell everybody, that was my hardest tour, was that first ship. Like we did, we got out of RCOH, we went around the Horn. So like there was a deployment, like it was like 3 months, but like still, we did Haiti, it was crazy. And then we got to San Diego, and then we did like an in-serve fucking test of Com2X deployment. Like it was very like high speed, and it's just like, I was like, all right, if I can make it through this, like I can make it through anything. And that was my whole like goal, to get through that first tour. And I was like, I made it through this shit. Like I'm going to shore duty. And, but anyway, that's kind of that first tour. I don't know where I'm going with this, but that first tour is really what made me believe in myself. 'Cause I never like, I was a kid, right? I was like 21, 22. And I was like, wow, like I'm part of something pretty like special, like right now, you know, like when I was saying about that team stuff, like that's where I was like, we're like that's a big, aircraft carrier is a huge team. And I was like, I'm fitting in, like I'm actually like accomplishing stuff, like the work, I'm waking up in the morning, I have a purpose, like, I'm contributing to something just like greater than myself. Like that was the first time I got that feeling since when I played baseball. And so I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. Like, I was that sailor that was like low key, like, yeah, I ain't stayed in the Navy, but like, I really loved it. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like, I was like, yeah, the Navy, yeah, whatever, man. I was trying to make rank or shit, like make more money, but like, I really loved it. Like, I really did. And, but I never like let anybody know it. But, yeah, so I did that. We did, so that was like, it put me about like 5 years when I was done with that ship. Walked out, came on as the E3, walked off as the E5, both pins, couple NAMs. And so it was like pretty good, like first tour sailor, I guess. And that was back then, like where you had to take tests to make it. There wasn't like caps. And like now it's all like, I'm like, what? You got Matt, man. You ain't shit. But I never got Matt. So I've got a little crusty about that. It's a good thing though. But like, I'm just like, I just kind of joke about it. But yeah, so that's kind of why I joined. That's kind of why I stuck around. And then I had this suppo. He's actually the chief of supply corps right now, Admiral Epps, 2-star. He was my suppo as an 05. And I was like, when I was on the Vincent, he's like, he saw something in me. He told me, he's like, you're very special. Like, you could do something. I was like, wow. Yeah. And like, if I was like, that guy thinks I could be good. Like, I could probably be pretty good at this. And then I got my degree, put my OCS package in, made first class, got accepted. And then that's kind of my story, man. And then I just kind of stuck. It's that like team, that camaraderie. Yeah. And like, as I'm kind of getting ready to retire, because I'm retiring next year. And it's just like, I'm just kind of like starting to think about like what I'm going to miss. And like, so I've kind of been reflecting. So that's kind of why I probably like spilling out a lot of stuff, but like, it's really that, because I don't think you get that team, that family atmosphere anywhere else.
Right.
Like, and I'm sure since you've been retired, Tisha, you probably experienced that.
Yeah.
And like, you see glimpses of it while you're active duty Navy. Like when you go to shore duty, like you're not like in a super family oriented as you are when you're on like a ship, because you guys are living together, eating together, working together, working you know what I mean? And so I don't know, like, but yeah, I love this shit. And it's just kind of, that's why I joined. But like, I don't know if I got off, I ramble a lot. Yeah, my bad.
That first tour you didn't. That first tour is the foundation though. Did it for me. I was on my first ship for 5 years, 3 deployments, all the COM2, all that stuff, man. But that first tour really did. And I still got friends from that first ship. You know what I'm saying? So that really did. Yeah, that really. But one thing that I was thinking about, I want to ask you about, I was just talking to one of my sellers today, and I asked him, I said, hey, is there anybody at the command that you want them to see you like succeed? You know what I mean? Because for me, it's like, yeah, you can have a role model, you can have whatever. But I think for me, the biggest driver was that it was people around that I didn't want them to see me fail. And that was what motivate now, even now in a leadership position. I don't want, my command, to see me fail or look stupid or do something wrong. When you were coming up in those early years, was it anybody that made that kind of impression on you where you was like, maybe they weren't your mentor, maybe they was, but you was like, I don't want them to see me fail or look bad or do something stupid?
Yeah, there's 3. Mm-hmm. There was, so my boot camp, this is a good story too, like I promise. My boot camp, RDC, the chief, he's a DCC, Peterson.
Yeah.
I wasn't very good at boot camp. Like I was a kid from Southern California. I was like a sports star, whatever. Like, I just wasn't very militarized, right? I'll just put it that way. So boot camp was rough for me. And I remember when we graduated, I got in trouble. I got threatened to asthma me. Remember that term, asthma? Yeah, I almost got asthma like 3 times, but they never did. And then, so I remember I graduated and we're all like outside the bus with our like whites on, with our sea bags and shit. And he's shaking everybody's hand like, Thompson, good luck, you're gonna be great. Allen, you're gonna be great, good luck, good the fleet. And he gets to me and he goes, Ball, didn't shake my hand or nothing. He goes, you ain't gonna make it. And then went on to the next guy. And I took that really fucking personal. But you know what's fun? And I still tell the story.
Yeah.
I'm on my first ship as an officer, the Harry S. Truman repair locker officer, 7 Foxtrot.
Yeah.
Cool job, by the way. Hard, but cool. And we're getting our forgot what the final inspection is, where like ATG comes on and they inspect all your lockers. It's like during test or COM2X. It's like a big inspection. It's like you either got it or you don't.
Yeah.
And so we were drilling really hard up that point, and they flew them all on. And I'm down there fixing that system that tracks all your shit electronically on the screen. I always had to go below it. I was the only one that knew that little like switch to hit. And I forgot what it's called. It tracks like where you're all your plotting electronically.
Okay.
And so,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I hit the switch, and like while I'm down there, like with my mask on, like finding this thing, because my arms are long, I could do it.
Yeah.
I hear his voice, and I look up, and it's Master Chief Peterson, DCCM.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. Like I got that feeling when I heard his voice. And I stand up and I go, hey, Master Chief, remember me? Division 215, you said I wasn't going to make it. And he was just like blown. Oh, I was a Lieutenant JG. I wasn't shit. I was Lieutenant JG. But I was like, yeah. And that feeling, like, I'm getting it right now. That feeling, like, yeah, it was dope. So, like, I always kind of wanted to prove him wrong.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, wow, like, just to kind of cut in, he must have really didn't think you was gonna make it, man.
No, he did not. Because
the time that he decided to say that, the last day, shaking hands, he really wanted to leave that impression on you, man.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
That's crazy.
I was like, fuck this guy. I'm going to fucking make it. I'm going to show him.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is I got the opportunity to just show him.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, not a lot of people, like, he's the only one I ran into, the 3 RDCs I had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was when I already got commissioned. I was like in like a repair locker officer role, like doing well. Like our locker did very great, by the way. Yeah. And shout out 7 Foxtrot. And it was cool. Yeah. I was like, but then we talked for like an hour after the debrief and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he was cool. He's like, yeah, I was just being hard on you. Like I knew you were smart, all this shit. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
People always say that after the fact.
I'm like, whatever, man.
That was bullshit.
But he talked, it was cool.
Yeah. Were you surprised about how were you surprised about how you handled yourself in that engagement, or you kind of knew you would be as cool as you were?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be
yeah.
And I didn't take it as him I never took it like it was like a personal attack.
Yeah.
I just took it as like he doubted me.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I always like to prove people wrong. Like when I lift, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking show these motherfuckers I can get this shit. And I was like that. I just get it in my head, and like I want to prove people wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I doubt, but I didn't take it like he like was a person. I mean, I wasn't a great sailor in boot camp. Like I knew that. Yeah, like I was a little bad. Like
he had a reason to say it, but damn.
No, you're right. But
yeah,
show you.
I gave him some. I wasn't like 100% great, but like. Yeah. I just like, I felt like I grew up a lot from that day I saw him to the next time I saw him.
Yeah.
And so I think it was a good moment for him and me.
And for some people, that's how they kind of thrive. Like the best thing that someone can ever do to them is tell them that they can't do something, because that's going to give them the extra drive. Yeah. So that's probably the best thing that you could have heard at the moment, because like you said, you were kind of getting into trouble. You're probably a knucklehead. So that kind of changed I'm like, damn, he's doubting me. All right, I got to prove this motherfucker wrong. And then you end up doing great things after. Because even when you talked about your first duty station, you talked about how you said it was hard, but then you started talking about all these positive things. And I was like, he never talked about how it was actually hard.
Well, I left out like the DRBs. Yeah, you remember? I know you probably know like Master Chief Beldo, CMC Beldo.
Yes.
Yeah,
she was my CMC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she laid me in the business a couple times.
So you went to DRB?
Yeah, I went to DRB.
with her.
With that female though.
That's funny.
And I didn't even make it to the steps. Like there was these steps like you were supposed to stand attention to in the Chiefs mess on the Vincent. And I'm like walking, doing my facing movements. I didn't even make it to the steps. She goes, and halt. And I go, and she said, right face. And I do like right face. She's like, you're not going to come in here walking all swole, that attitude with your chest all puffed out, looking mad. Get out of my fucking Chiefs mess. And I was like, and it was because I was growing a lot at that point, and I was just like big. Like I'm a pretty big guy. And my uniform like kind of fit. Like my lats, I wasn't like this guy, but they're just out when I walk. And she thought I was being like arrogant. And I'm like, oh shit. But I really wasn't. Like I was really like, oh shit. Like I got to like find a way out of this. But like,
how do I fix this thing that's not broken?
Right.
Yeah, but like,
think about it.
My problem when I was
slumped up, like.
Well, and that's what I would kind of go in a little slumped up, but it looks like I'm flexing when I'm doing that, but I'm not. I'm just like, I just got big ass shoulders. So I was like, fuck. But I had a hard time with people getting in my shit. Like I was just I was very good, but I was also like, I was very good at my job.
Yeah.
But I had issues with authority, people telling me what to do. And like, that's something as I matured, I realized I can't be doing this just because I'm like the guy. Like everybody's got like in the division, like I was like good or whatever. It doesn't make me above the law. And so like that really I really like Mashi Bell straightened me out and like didn't have to go the route to like knock him because I was like a Frock D5. I went down to E3. I'd have been done. Like, but I feel like she kind of knew, like she's a good leader. So she kind of knew like, yo, I got to kind of like let this guy know I got to check his ass, but I ain't going to ruin him. Yeah. And so, and that's that leadership where you gotta know how you're going to handle this. Because like as a disciplinary action, as a leader, it should be to better that, correct the deficiencies and make them better.
Right.
Not just ruin them. And so that's why she was good because she didn't ruin me. And I think she could have, now that what I know. And like, but now I know what she did. And she kind of like, not let me off, but like enabled me to like get through it and still grow as in the Navy. Yeah. And so like going through that stuff though, kind of like taught me how to handle situations like that when sailors were doing what I was doing, right?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Have you ever run into another you?
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're challenging. Me's are challenging for like a leader, like as a junior enlisted. But it's there's no right, there's no like black or white answer to handle these situations. So I'm always the type of, like when it comes to disciplinary stuff, I try to handle it at the lowest level possible because of like my upbringing that I had in the Navy and the leaders that did that for me. Because I feel like there's some stuff you have to run as a legal man, you know, you got to run. It just got to get run up. My hands are tied or whatever. But if there's a way to not have to do that, I exhaust all those options first.
Right. Yeah. You can always tell, I feel, the leadership from those who have been through it. And can share those same settlements. Like, oh, I remember I was that same, sailor back in the day. I was, the knucklehead or, boastful and all of that stuff. Those are the ones that have the most patience with those sailors because they can identify themselves in them. And they really, like after DRB or after NJP, like they kind of will automatically link up with those sailors and help them to rehabilitate themselves. And I love seeing it. Like, I love seeing the ones who were, and they'll be open about it, like, I was you back in the day, like, you trying to be hard, like, they say all those things, and then they pull them to the side after. They'll say, come to my office after. And they'll have those heart-to-hearts with them. And so I always love to see that and then see the sailor grow after and mature.
And that's what it's all about. Like when you're in the position that we all are in now, it's not about just like pitting a sailor and being done with them. Like your goal is to retain that talent they have and make them better as a leader. Your job's not just to be like push off the next guy, get them off the ship, send them, where like the easy, that's the easy button. The hard button is sticking with them and learning as that, because everybody's different. So you got to find that way right? Like you got you got a playbook as a leader. You got to know what play to run sometimes, right? Use a football analogy there.
I like that. I like that analogy. I like that.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Nowadays the Navy really got playbooks.
They really do. They actually do. Yeah. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, there is. Yeah. But yeah, so that's why, like, I feel like the way I came up kind of made me what I feel like is a better, quote unquote, better leader. And I'm not like, I'm an officer, like supply corps officer, but like, to me, I'm not, like, you kind of got to know your strengths kind of when you start growing up in the Navy. And mine's not in the Excel spreadsheets or looking at reports. Like, I know how to do it. I know how to look at it. But like, there's some guys and girls that thrive at that stuff. But where I thrive more at is like the leading aspect and making people better. So like, I wrote a post about this, and this is what makes most sense to me. And I make sense to people when I tell them this. Like, you have leaders and you have managers. And a lot of people are like, yeah, they dock the managers or whatever. But the real answer is you have to do both. You have to lead and you have to manage to make your people and your team better. So like, leading is wanting to make that person go faster, right? Like, do more. Like, that's how you're leading. Like, you want to make themselves better, do more, whatever, progress, elevate. But managing is taking those roadblocks out of their way so they can keep going fast. So that's kind of like the analogy I like to use. Because you got some people that can, give a great pep speech, but they're not removing any barriers as a manager or like setting good schedules or like, an environment to where people can actually like do the good shit. Yeah. But then you got some people that are just managers. They don't know how to make that person want to do better. So like, you have to do both. So like, I've always kind of found that's kind of where my strengths at is like, people want to kind of go faster. And it's a leading by example thing, really, for me. Yeah. When I talk about leading, like, I've always responded best to where leaders that led by example and that were authentic. So I've always kind of tried to be that guy the best I can, So
gotta be, man. You said it was two other people too that were. I know we didn't took this one, 3 blocks way up the elevator down the road. But I know you said it's two. That is a good
story
too.
Though. That boot camp story.
Yeah, for sure.
Master Chief Olson. So I was, I don't know if you're familiar with. I was an S1 on the carrier, so it's like stock control. And like, I went right there. The only reason why I went to that division right when I got there, usually you spend time in S8. That's like you work your way up to S1 by the time you're getting out. And, but I went to S1 because they needed to move from the barge to the ship on crew movable board. And I was big. And so the senior chief in there was like, yeah, we're going to keep him. And I just kind of stuck around. I was good at moving shit. I was like that guy that was like, could get a little dirty if my boots were dirty. Like, I do the hard work while everybody else kind of, did their shit. And so I was a member of the team, and I was like the Dennis Rodman, right? Like, I was getting the rebounds, loose balls. Like, I was that guy. I wasn't scoring all the points, but Master Chief Olson saw that. He was like the DL division leading petty officer or leading chief petty officer. He wasn't like the department one. And we had like 3 Master Chiefs for some reason. And he ended up like loading me up, and like, cause I was doing good jobs for other chiefs and stuff. Like, I'd like help them get stuff, and like, they were talking to him in the mess. And so like, that's a good thing, man. When the chiefs are talking good about you, the master chief in the mess, he's like, yeah, a lot of chiefs come up and talk to me about you helping them out. And I was like, yeah, I try to like, do my job or whatever. And so he gave me a job as like a credit card holder, which is kind of a big deal. Like when you're junior as a LS. And so I just ended up thriving. And then next thing you know, I got another job and another job. But he was just like that authentic, like that. He was smart. He knew he was a subject matter expert, which I really like respected a lot when I was enlisted. I still do now. Like I respect when I look at the mess, like, I need you to be a SME. Yeah. Like, not the first class. Like, I need you to really know what the fuck's going on. And so he was that guy. And I just really looked up to him, and I did not want to let him down. Like, that was my whole goal. I want to make Master Chief proud. And he was like the first guy. I was like, yeah, he cussed. He was fat. He was like, but he was just like, this is when they were wearing washed khakis though. Like, I got a picture of him in wash khakis and I'm in my old coveralls and he's chasing me around with a 2x4 and saying, walking tall, motherfucker, like he was like The Rock. And that was a different time. And so I got to post that one of these days.
The Fat Master Chief era is different, yo.
Yeah.
Just was different,
it is.
Man. The Fat Master Chiefs, man. They had it down pat, man.
Yeah, and it was a wash khaki, so you couldn't really hide the physique. And so, you know, he was tucked in and shit. And so, but he was just cool, and I didn't want to let him down. And like, he taught me a lot about the in-rate stuff and like how to like he's kind of hustler too. And so like, and like how to like, just kind of like be like a good sailor, right?
Yeah.
And then my suppo, who is now Admiral Ebbs, 2-star. He's the head of the Chief Supply Corps, and it's just luck I got. He was my suppo, so I've always been kind of good. But he was just like that guy. Like I was like, he wasn't that like leader where it's like, you know, like I'm scared I'll get in trouble if I don't do this. It was like that leader. I was like, I don't want to let him down because I don't want him to have to go to the XO or CO and get his ass kicked. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so. And he used to do like little things like, and I took this on, like I like write notes, like handwritten notes. And I was crazy is like, I made E5 and I was the only one on the ship that made E5 for LS. And I cut an 80 on the exam. It was like like less than like 5% made it. Like it was like, back then it was like hard to make E5 for LS. Yeah, and so he wrote me a handwritten note. He goes, not only like bronze, but you got brains too, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like, congratulations, suppo. And like, I just thought that was like the coolest like note. It was like sitting on my keyboard, like after I made it. Yeah. And I was like, that's like a good leader. And I remember like, I gave it to my mom. I used to give all my awards and shit to my mom. And cause like, I've lost all of it. So I just like brought it home and shit. Mm-hmm. And she thought that was like the coolest thing. Like I had like NAMs, like for doing all this like humanitarian shit in like Haiti, like they sounded really cool, like all this stuff. She didn't know what those were, but that note she had like framed and thought it was just like the greatest thing. And so like I just like, you know, and I still have it now, but like it's cool. So like I kind of like didn't want to let him down because he saw something in me, and like he'd be like, "Yeah, when are you gonna put your officer package in?" And I was like, "Oh shit." Yeah. I wasn't thinking about that. But and then like he like kept in touch with me and just like, you know, asking me like updates about my degree, OCS package. He wrote me a recommendation, all that stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, like we still talk today. Like Master Chief Olsen, he disappeared after he joined the Navy. I wish I could talk to him though. Yeah. But yeah, and so he's just kind of guy I wanted to like kind of be like. And so like those mostly the two, the Master Chief and my and Admiral Labs. But
were you always a carrier seller?
Tell my suppo tour as an officer.
Okay.
So I did my first ship. Well, I out of boot camp, it's like they should never do this to sailors. They sent me to a RAG squadron for 2 years. They should never do that to say like it's basically a short duty command. Like we go on like deaths every now and then, but like they should never do that. Like,
what were you doing?
I was the AM. That's when so I was in a VAQ 129. It's a prowler squadron in Whidbey Island. Uh-huh. But it was just like it wasn't a ship. It was like I was like, I don't think they should ever do that. I think if you're coming out of A school or C school or whatever, you need to go to like a deployable unit.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, because like I got kids now. I'm at FLC, NAVSUP FLC Norfolk, and they're like going straight from A school to here. I'm like, you're getting a disservice. But so my first ship was CVN 70 Vincent, and then I did a short duty, got my degree, commissioned. My first ship as an officer was a carrier, the Truman, and then I did Joint Staff Pentagon, and then I did suppo tour Vicksburg, CG-69 cruiser.
Hey, shout out to the MAs real quick, because that's one of those rates that I get it if y'all don't go on the ship first tour, because y'all got other things that y'all got to do. And a bunch of MAs work with me, so I don't need y'all to, man, I ain't even think about it. So shout out to y'all, because y'all could go to shore duty first, but a lot of rates, I do agree, a lot of sellers need to go.
Yeah.
So just for the vibes, yo. Just like we said earlier, like
no, straight up the vibe.
Yeah, you need that vibe. Shit, all of that. Yeah. Like you gotta like learn the Navy. Now some rates, like we said, that just can't. So cruise. So it's kind of this is kind of hard because you were on a carrier as enlisted, and then your first ship as an officer was a cruiser. So if I asked,
carrier. It was a carrier. My Divo tour as an officer was the Truman.
Okay, so your Suppo tour was a
cruiser.
Yeah. So that's kind of hard because I would say like, well, you were an officer at both, so but Suppo is a department head tour, so it's kind of. So my question is this: which one do you like most? Is it carrier life or the cruiser life?
I like the gyms on carriers.
You work out.
Everything's gonna circulate around.
Honestly, I like the cruise, the small boy aspect, the life.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just like, like a Suppo, like I was a lieutenant. I was like a fucking god on that ship. Like if I needed to get something done, like the whole crew would help me get it done. Like we got stores on the pier. Like the whole ship's going to help my CSs get the food onto the ship.
Yeah.
You go on a carrier, like you're getting like 300 pallets and no one's helping you.
Oh yeah.
No one's showing up to working parties. Like they're all skating off halfway through if they do show up. And so like, but they're, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like the team aspect was much greater on a cruiser. So like on a carrier, you're really in your department.
Yep.
That's about the size, like a supply department on a carrier is about the size of a crew on a cruiser or a DDG. And so like, you're not like talking to like pretty much us. You're not, as a PA, I was talking to a lot of like other departments or other PAs and stuff like that. But as a sailor, you were talking to supply department and like the RPPOs. That was it. But on a DDG, there was no room for dead weight.
Yeah.
So like on a carrier, you could be dead weight and everything's still gonna happen. Yeah, because there's a lot of other motherfuckers. But on a cruiser, like you had to get all the quality. Like you were in a repair locker, officer. You were in a repair locker. You were doing flight deck drills. Like you were doing sea and anchor detail. Like you were doing everything, right? But on a carrier, like you're doing maybe like one. Maybe if you want to like boost up your collaterals.
Yeah. Yeah. I went from a DDG. So I went to shore duty in between, but I went from a DDG to a carrier. And I was so used to, and I was the chief on a DDG, senior chief on the carrier. But I was so used to even for like seeing the senior chiefs on my DDG, like seeing chiefs like really digging in, like on the work side of it, like still doing work. On the DDG, I was troubleshooting for days and nights on certain pieces of equipment, stuff like that. So I get to the carrier and I still got some of that same like mentality. And I had to learn really fast that like, this ain't my job here, and plus I was the senior chief. So I had some chiefs, but I'm like, it took me like a week. And then I'm like, oh shit, I'm supposed to be by my desk, like catching emails as they come in.
And being the Hydra guy.
Yeah.
Getting the Hydra calls.
Yep. Getting the Hydra calls and bringing people, because that's what's going to happen. My departmental LCPO, he's talking to me to talk to them. So it took me a minute, but I'm like, let me go. And I had to tell my people, I'm like, hey, y'all, I came in kind of like, hey, I think I'm a dig into things, but I learned I need to be by this desk. And then every chance I got, I still got out and, went over. But it's so many spaces on the damn. I didn't learn all my switchboard, all my like load centers. I ain't learned them. I can't lie.
Yeah. And then like engineering's crazy. Like there's so many different work centers within A division or within E division. Yeah. And it's just like a carrier is controlled chaos.
Yeah.
Not everything's going to get done, but you got to kind of figure out like what parts you really need to focus on and do and what kind of stuff you're kind of going to push off to the side. Whereas a small boy, like you're doing 8 o'clock reports. If I missed the 8 o'clock report on a small boy, I'd be dead. On a carrier, I might just change the date on the top and send it in. No one's going to notice, right?
Yeah, you're kind of right about that, man.
I got too many fucking undercounter reefers and you know what I mean? Like, I don't even, like, it's too much shit. Like,
my first duty day on the carrier, man, I was devastated, man. The section leader got up on like a pallet full of like boxes. He got like up on top of the pallet, like, so to be above everybody and like chewed out the entire duty section. That meant the duty section going down almost down the whole damn hanger, half the hanger. And like chewed them out, of course, for people like leaving at lunch and like are leaving at dinner and not coming back, like skating. It was bad, but I'm like, this is my first day here, like my first like duty day, and it was like, y'all can't go out, not come back, not let people know who you are. We gonna do this, muster that, muster, especially if you IET. And I was like, oh man, it's different than like anything I've ever experienced. You know what I mean? 'Cause first of all, engineering might not make it up like anywhere else. Like engineering, man, we busy. You know, engineering, we working, man. We might not make it up to that you know, that muster or whatever like that. But this was different. Everybody was out there. IET. We couldn't even start until IET was fully mustered. Like we couldn't do nothing. Like it's one person from IET gone. They like, hey, we can't get started without this person. It's crazy, yo.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. I like the carrier a lot though. I definitely like. So what was your favorite like command period?
It's the one I hated the most. And that was that Carl Vinson, that first ship tour.
Yeah.
It's what made me who I am. Like,
yeah.
And I know people that I was on there with, and that you either sank or you swam.
Yeah.
And there was really no in between. And I chose to swim, and then I just been swimming ever since.
Yeah. When did you get into fitness?
Right before I joined the Navy, I was like, got this like fitness bug because like I had to lose weight because I was overweight, and I was like really like paranoid about it. And so I went full into fitness, and like I was a dep for like 5 months maybe. That was a while. Like back then you couldn't just join.
Yeah,
it was like you had to wait, and I just like went knee deep in fitness, got addicted to it. And then I ended up losing way too much weight. I got skinny as shit, and everybody was making fun of me at boot camp. And I was like, when I get to A school, I'm getting jacked as fuck. And so that's when I like really got into like the gym and wanted to get jacked and strong. And then I've just been like, there's been like two things in my life that really kind of like are my anchor, and it's the gym and the Navy.
Yeah. How tall are you?
So like 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, because I was like, you're like 6'4". I was showing my wife. I'm like, yo, this guy's big as hell. I was talking about the episode we had coming up. But you've competed as well in like competitions, right? For
bodybuilding. I've done them all. I did strongman, so like the stuff you see on like ESPN.
Yeah,
at like 2 a.m, like that stuff. Yeah. I did that, and then I did powerlifting for a long time, and then I got into bodybuilding when I was like in my like, I'm 38 now, so like 32 is when I did my first show.
Yeah,
because I was getting hurt. I can't lift heavy all the time anymore. But bodybuilding, you don't have to. But it kind of kept me like focused on competing because like I didn't have a goal for a while in the gym, and so it kind of helped me like get back into like something to train for. And then I bit the bodybuilding bug like the last 6 years, but I'm kind of like phasing out of that now too. So I got to find my next thing.
So
compete.
I want to talk about competing real quick. I want to go deep into that real quick because I never have an opportunity to. But before that, were you ever a CFL?
Yeah, when I was at LS2 and LS1. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you as somebody that's like in the fitness hardcore, how'd you like? What was it, ACFL or CFL that you?
I was the CFL. Yeah.
How'd you like it? Were you able to put your own spin on some of that stuff? Like, what was that experience like?
Yes and no. Yeah. So when I was the actual like command fitness leaders, I was on shore duty at NAVSUP, FLC, Puget Sound, and so it was a shore duty, and like you're spread out all over base, and like. It was cool. Like I did like PT sessions with people that were like interested in it, but then I got like really just like disencouraged with like the lack of enthusiasm and like the trying to get by to like make past the PRT and like all the admin shit involved in like prims and all this stuff. But like, I mean, I really didn't like it because it's too big of a beast to manage, man. Like with the Navy, like command PT and stuff. It's just, we don't have like the space for it, like the Army does, and like you see them, they'll go out like on like 500 of them in like a formation run at like 5 a.m. Like we just don't have that culture. Like we have like that culture like where we got to work and then.
Yeah, we gave ourselves so much work to do. We gave ourselves so much work to do. That
exactly.
Ain't no time
and so
for PT
that,
no more.
yeah. So that always takes it. And then when we actually have time, maybe underway, there's not the space to do it. You have to do. It's very hard. You're not getting a whole hangar bay underway. To lead your department. It's not happening. But I also to be honest, I don't really care if sailors are in very good shape. I know that sounds so weird for me to say that. And people, when I tell them, but I don't think that just because you're out of shape that you're necessarily a bad sailor. Because I have some of my best sailors I've had work for me. And to start, first impressions do matter. If you're in shape, you already kind of got a better leverage than the person that's not in shape. If I've never met you, but over the course of my career, some of my best ones they're not workout people. They like to eat a little bit, but they're really good at their job, and they're good people. Just because they're not, looked apart, ripped up or whatever, doesn't mean they're still a really good sailor. From the job, on the ship, off the ship, on the field, off the field, they're good. And so I don't really care. I don't think it's a big deal. I do think, because and they also got big people that are very good at cardio and shit.
Yep.
So it doesn't, I just think we need to reassess it a little bit. Yeah, I do think it looks sharp if you look good in your uniform and all that stuff, but is it the end of, I've seen a lot of good sailors get kicked out because they're half-inch over on their BCA. So I don't know, but I think we're going the right direction, because there's now if you do well on the PRT portion and you fail the BCA, you're still good. Because there are those outliers. There are big people that have a heart. And especially as you get kind of older, your waist does get bigger. Your weight, it's really a scientific thing, because your stomach acid decreases as you get older. And so your waist is going to descend a little bit more. That's why you feel your metabolism is going to slower. No, your stomach acid is lower.
Yeah.
And it just happens as you age. It's natural. So your stomach's going to get a little bit bigger. My waistline, I'm still lean, but it's bigger than when I was 18.
Yeah. You got, I mean? You got to get what is called rope. I forgot that. How am I? When they weigh you in, they gotta
rope and choke.
It ain't, but it ain't rope.
They don't choke anymore. They do choke if you're over the waist circumference.
You gotta get that.
No, I get I did I was a 36 this last PRT.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But I used to. I've never not got taped for ever since I've been in. Yeah, I've getting taped every single for 19 years I've been taped.
So competing, right?
Yeah.
Out of all of the competitions that you did do, what was the hardest one?
The hardest one was 2019. So my wife, she was a suppo too. She's retired, but she got diagnosed with grade 4 brain cancer, the worst fucking kind you can think of. And she's good. This 5 years later. It's almost 6 years, remission. She's best bill of health she's ever been in. So she's fine. So I don't want to that distract people. But I was going through I was starting my prep for a show in August. And then a month into it, we got the news that she had brain cancer and surgery and all this shit. So I'm all right, babe, I'm not doing it. I need to focus on you. And we ended up going to Boston I was TED 90 days. It's on my suppo tour. And, no TED to go be with her while she got treated in Boston at the best facility in the US, and she's also from there, so it worked out really well. But she's no, I need you to do it for me. I was what? She's I need to know that you're still gonna keep doing what you're gonna do. I need this, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I took her. She came to the gym with me every fucking day during chemo and radiation and all that shit. And so it ended up really helping her out too, because her getting back in shape and staying active, the doctor said, really helped her through the chemo and radiation. But I was up there in Boston at her parents' house, and it was a 1-bathroom house built in the 1990 or 1900s. It's a cool house, but it's old as shit. They had 1 bathroom. I'm sharing a small bed with my wife, my 3 dogs, and living with parents again. I haven't lived with parents in like forever. And like, I went every day with her to her radiate because it was daily radiation and all that. And it was just like, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this shit, but I could not show weakness. I could not. And so I ended up prevailing, but that was a very, very hard one for me because like the stuff she was going through and like that stress and then like fitting in my schedule with the training and all that stuff. And like, there'd be like times we had to go to the ER and shit. And like, but yeah. And so that was the hardest one. And it was also the best I ever did. Like that's the last time I won 2 overalls. So like I won the classic bodybuilding and the open bodybuilding. Yeah. And it's pretty like, doesn't happen a lot, but I did it. Yeah. And like, just like, I remember like crying backstage after I got my trophies and shit. Cause I was like, I did that. Cause my whole thing, my why was Alana, my wife. And I wanted to show her that like, life's not stopping. We're still kind of going. We're still going. This is just like a deployment. And we're both Navy. So we're like, yeah, this is just a deployment. Like we're going to get through this. So that's just kind of how we compartmentalized it. It's crazy.
Yeah, but, sometimes that is what helps. That's sometimes like that, just speaking things into existence is what helps get through all of that stuff, man. Just believing that it's going to happen. And like you said, the fitness that people underestimate heavily, like most of these health problems that people have, we wouldn't have if we slept 8 and like we're active. 8 right and we're like active. We don't have a lot of health problems we do have. So, I mean, that's like a super congratulations and a really good story, honestly. My question I have is about, before I dig into process, right, when it comes to these bodybuilding competitions, do y'all get like spray tanned or something? Why everybody look light skinned out there? Man?
Yeah, so you have to because even the black guys, they all get tan too because the lights are so bright. If you stand up there, I'll look like Casper. Like you won't see anything. Okay, it will like especially as a white dude, like you'll look like
you don't got like you flat body, like Lil Yachty.
You look bad. Like you look like a tub.
Look like Lil Yachty in the chest, man. You probably ain't seen the picture, Tish.
So you got to get. So the night before the show, you get like a coat, and then in the morning you get a second coat.
Yeah,
and then before you go on, you get glazed.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all do be looking like some glazed donuts.
Yeah,
I tell you what, everybody always says like, "What's the first thing you do after the show?" And they always think it's going to be like eating like some crazy shit or something. It's taking a shower because it's the night before. You're not allowed to put deodorant on because if you put deodorant on, it turns green. I did that one time, made the mistake. I was like, yeah, right, they bullshit. It turned green as shit. And I was like, fuck. I had to like redo it. And so you stink and that tan stinks and you're in it for like 24 hours and they got all that glaze on you. Yeah. The first thing is shower and like a Gatorade, like something cold, like drink.
Yeah.
And then food later.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back because I want to go back and then go all the way up to like meals after. So, all right, you want to compete. You make a decision to compete. And then you just start training. You set your own goals or you got like a roadmap to tell me, hey, from A to B, I need to be here and here. Like, how does that whole thing work out? And then like, what's the sacrifices you make and what are you eating? How does the day before look, the week before look, the month before look? Just that whole process.
So, I mean, it's like my answer to you now would be different than like my first show or kind of when I first started competing. It kind of evolves because you kind of start knowing your body more. Like the more, like I've done like, I think 10 shows. So like 10 preps. And so like, I kind of know at some point, like, all right, 16 weeks out, I need to start tightening my diet up, like no more cheat meals and stuff like that. Start maybe adding a little bit more cardio and then start bringing it down. And then, it's the whole bodybuilding thing is kind of a mind fuck because the scale does not matter, but you think it matters. And it is a gauge you have to use, but what really matters is the look. So you have to be careful of not, you have to be in a deficit, right? Like you got to lose, like you're going to have to lose body fat. Like 99% of people, there's some genetic people that like don't gain body fat, but for 99% of the people, like you're going to have to lose body fat. So you're going to have to be in deficit. So So you got to find out what that is. Like you got to find out what your baseline is, what maintains, and you got to take a little bit off. And then you kind of have to chip at that. But you don't want to go down too fast, because if you go down too fast, your training performance suffers and you start losing muscle tissue. And so the whole goal, it's not body shrinking, it's body building. So you still have to have the muscle, right? So it's not just like losing weight. So it's kind of a balance to where you have to still maintain like your performance in the gym. Like it might not be like the best, but like you get kind of hanging on there while you drop down body fat. But like you're doing like, so usually like my first prep, I did a coach, but I did myself, self-coached. But then every other time I've had a coach, like I coach now, but like it's always good to have someone coach you, because like you can like, it could be like at night, you're like, I look like shit. And then like you get in your mind and like all this. Yeah, it's crazy. Like the mirror can like really, in your head when you're like getting super lean, can really mess with you. So like you do like weekly check-ins in the start. So like you do all your poses, check in, here's my weight, here's how I'm feeling, all that stuff. And then you kind of just make adjustments off your diet like week to week. And then like at the end, like you're doing like, maybe like at 6 weeks out, you're doing like check-ins twice a week. And then like that last week, you're doing check-ins like daily. And then the last day, you're doing check-ins like every 2 hours after you eat every 2 hours.
And what you eating? Like a week out? Like what's the diet?
So for me, I always had to make weight for Classic, because it's based off your height and your weight. And so I always, like, I'd be ready body fat wise, like at like 255, but I had to make 237.
Yeah.
So like for me, I had to really suck down. So it's basically just protein, like lean protein, like chicken or turkey or fish, like 6 times a day with like veggies, like 100 grams of veggies. So like for me, it's usually like my protein portions would be like 200 grams of like a white meat, like a chicken or a turkey, or 220 grams of like a white fish, like a cod or something like that, with like 100 grams of like asparagus, or like, usually I do asparagus or zucchini. But that's like the last week. And I'm really trying, the whole goal of the last week is to really like suck down and like deplete. So like in your muscle, if I'm getting too nerdy, let me
go ahead.
Okay.
Because there's people that know what you're talking about that's listening. So go ahead.
So you have like you in your muscles, you have a gas tank. It's gas tank storage. It's called glycogen. It's what like gives you like energy to like do a bicep curl. Like you got them in all your muscles. It's called glycogen. You got a little bit in your liver. It's your fuel. It's your gas tank. So you have to deplete your gas tank and that glycogen by going no carbs, because what replenishes that tank is your carbs turn into glycogen and they go in your muscle cells. So you want to fully deplete your gas tank, strip down, and that gets the water off you, because you got to get the water off you too. And then you're just kind of trying, you're not training real hard at this point. You're just like kind of doing the bare minimum, because you don't want to cause too much inflammation. And like for instance, if you train legs really hard, your legs won't look good for like a week, because you got to let all like the inflammation and stuff come down. And that's how you kind of get them to look cut up, like real diced up, is by not training. But like after a leg day, they usually look like shit because they're so like swollen. So you don't want that. You want all like the lines to show and all that. And so you kind of just, you're taking your cardio down. So like there'd be preps where I'd have to do like 2 hours a day, like an hour in the morning, hour in, like after training or at night.
Yeah.
But I'll take that down like 30 minutes to last week, because I don't want to like cause too much stress on my body. And my calories are so low, fat's already off. I'm just trying to like suck it in by getting the gas tank lower. And then the day before, you're trying to, so when you're sucked down, your gas tank's low, your body just wants to suck up all that gas that you're about to put in it, and it super compensates. And so what you do is like you're loading carbs really heavy the day before, and that refills like your muscles to where they like super compensation, that's called, and it's like greater. And so like that's how you get like the veins and the pumps and like the full looking muscle roundness is the carbs. But you kind of, based off your look, you have to balance it with your water. Like, because you be taking too much water with carbs, you're going to look puffy, because for every gram of carb you eat, you store about 4 grams of water.
Yeah.
So the goal is to get that water into your muscle cell and not in between your skin and your muscles. That takes your definition away.
Yeah.
So that's like, you kind of like more times you do it, like the better you kind of get at it and like looking at your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like nerdy as shit,
Yeah,
but it's cool
I
to
love
me.
it, man.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's fascinating.
So, like the day of, are you getting to eat? Like, are you taking breaks and like eating in the back or something?
Yeah.
Like that?
So you want to get like, there's a balance the day of. You don't want to like fill up too much because then you can become distended in your waist, and like you really got to keep your waist in a bodybuilding show because that's what really makes your like physique. That's like the center point.
Yeah.
And so that's what's going to give you that V taper. But if you got like too much food and you can't suck it in all the way, it's not going to be a good look. So yeah, I'm doing like a lot of, usually like the day of, it's a lot of salt and like I'll go like heavy dense foods like peanut butter.
Yeah.
And like a little bit of rice. I usually do like peanut butter, rice, and banana. It tastes really good too. Like when you're like starting and with some pink salt. Yeah, it's actually like a legit meal. But like it's just enough to kind of keep you full, but not like keep that gas tank where it's at, but don't like raise it, but don't let it lower. So you're trying to kind of like keep your gas where it's at. Yeah. And then the water usually just kind of like 4 ounces, maybe like every like 3 hours. Or then like as you get closer, you're just kind of sipping it.
Uh-huh.
And then before you get on stage, I always do like honey and salt. And then like a swig of water. And that just like, it brings your veins out and shit. Like your vascularity. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a post meal like after you compete? Like something you always do? Or?
Yeah. I'm always like, I'm going to be so good after the show. I promise. Like, I don't want to, I am like, because I'm a fucking fat ass. Like I can eat, like, I'm not joking here. I'm a professional eater too. I've competed against Joey Chestnut and all those dudes.
Oh, shit.
Like, yeah, like I can eat a lot. Like I'm known for eating a lot, like competitively. Yeah. And like, I got away from that, but like, I could throw down. And my shit's, I love ice cream.
Yeah.
I fucking love ice cream. And that's like, so I'll have cheat meals like leading up to the show, like every week at least, usually. Like my metabolism allows it.
Uh-huh.
But the one thing I can't get away with is ice cream. It just like, it sticks to me. Like I can eat like a burger or like pizza or whatever, and I just look kind of sick and fuller. But when I eat ice cream, it just like sticks. Yeah. And I'm just like, ugh. So like for whatever reason, I can't get away with eating ice cream in prep. But so it's cold and it just like tastes good, like because you're like dehydrated, and it's just like the best thing. But I also like fruit a lot post show too. Yeah, like some watermelon or like pineapple, like cold in the fridge. Like oh shit. Like that's like the greatest thing. Like after you get off stage, because it's just like your body's craving it, like nutrient wise, and like because you're dehydrated, and it's just like your body wants it. So I go through a lot of fruit, and then I'll get into the ice cream, and then I'll get into like pizza, and then like I'm just on like such a sugar high. Like I just kind of want more and more and more, and I just end up like.
That's what sugar does.
It gets bad, and I'll gain like 20, 30 pounds post show.
Now, I'm hearing you talking about your diet, and it just sounds so expensive. Like the 6 meals a day, like all the food that you have to consume. It sounds expensive, and it sounds time consuming too. Is that true or?
Time consuming thing, I would say no. Or time consuming thing, I would say yes. Expensive thing, I would say no. So like when I'm actually dieting for a show, I spend a lot less money on food. Because like I think about it, like I did, like they were in my kitchen like a lot, like the other day, and I was like fucking hungry and I couldn't make a meal. So I was like, "Hey baby, what do you want from Chick-fil-A?" And I didn't even get that much shit, and it was like $60 for just me and my wife.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
So like chicken breast and like turkey and like these like diet foods, they're like not a lot, and like your quantities aren't a lot, and you're not eating out. So
that's true. The eating out part will make it,
yeah. And I know like food to start, like food prices in general are just like crazy right now.
Yes.
But like I remember when I first started bodybuilding, like eggs, like a dozen eggs was like maybe $2, but now it's like And I gotta buy the fancy eggs and shit now. Like I ain't gonna lie, I'm Gucci like that.
You don't do the brown egg. You do the brown egg.
Yeah, I like, bro, the happy eggs in the blue container. That is my shit.
Damon did not know there was a different class of eggs.
Yeah. Because the yolks are orange. They're much more nutritious for you, to be honest. But I do buy that shit, but it's like $9 a dozen. I'm like, shit. I know you're in California, so it's even worse.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Everything. But deodorant, like $15. My deodorant about $15, $13, $14 for deodorant.
It's wild. It's wild.
I'm only getting a bar at a time.
Not to get political, but I hope Trump can fix that shit.
I used to get like 4 deodorants at a time. Or 2.
I know.
Now I get 1.
You get that 2-pack, that like come plastic together. Yeah. That should be like $2, like $3. Now it's like
nope. $13 a stick.
And don't get me started on razors, man. Shit.
Razors, man.
The blades?
I use Harry's too. And I usually don't use a blade more than twice. And them things are expensive, man. They lock them up. Where I live at, they lock them up. You got to get like...
They lock them up here too. I think they lock them up everywhere now. Yeah. They over that price threshold and they small.
Yeah. It's like everybody, it don't matter what neighborhood you in. Everybody's still in razors, man. Mm-hmm. Hey, so question, the PRT. So when you do the PRT, do you just bust out 150 push-ups, plank for 4 minutes? Or are you just like...
I hit my maximum as fast as I possibly can.
Yeah.
I'm actually not that great at push-ups. Like when you get bigger, when you bodybuild, your whole goal is to make shit as hard as possible. Like you don't want to use you want to use the least amount of weight as you can get away with, but like really target and fatigue the muscle as most efficiently as possible. So like once I started bodybuilding, I got so good at like thinking about using my chest and like really like staying on the muscle. And I was like, fuck, dude, I'm making these too fucking hard. Because like, I think like my max is like 70 something now. I'm like 38. So something like that. But like, I forgot. But yeah, around there. But like, it's not easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. Like, and I'm like 270-ish, usually like 260, 270. And yeah, it's just, and my shoulders aren't like what they used to be, and my elbows aren't what they used to be, and like, I don't like getting on the floor. I hate push-ups.
Yeah, push-ups.
Never
I
liked
hate push-ups too.
I hate push-ups.
Like, even at my most fit, even at my, I ain't like push. I can knock them out. I can max, but I
like
hate them.
Dips. If they did dips, I'd be like, yeah, let's go. I like dips. I don't have to get on the ground. And it's like kind of the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I'll hit my maximum like as quick as I can, and like my goal is I just try to do them fast, because like if you do them past a minute, I'm no good.
Yeah.
So if I can do my max in like a minute or like close to a minute, it's pretty good. It's just like a time thing with me, like a time under tension. I just get too pumped, and then like your triceps end up, they don't like have a warning. They just kind of go.
Yeah.
Like, you can't grind out. Like once your triceps go, you're done.
Yeah. So you talked about getting out. So
and then I bike.
Oh, you bike?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it, man.
I did the row one time, and I did like the best. Like I'm great at rowing, and I did like the best time. Like I beat like the max by a minute, but I was so fatigued.
Oh yeah,
I was like that.
I never tried it.
This shit was fucking hard, but I mean, I got like, that's the only time I ever maxed out the cardio portion on the PRT.
Do you bike outside of the PRT?
Every morning, man, I do the Peloton. I'm addicted to the Peloton. I got 207 straight weeks on the Peloton. I'm great at the bike. I love it.
You got one at home?
Yeah, I do that shit. I'm like addicted to it. Like if I miss a day, I'm grumpy.
Yeah, a lot of people I've been talking to in the Navy got like home gyms. I used to have a home gym, got rid of it. A lot of people I've been talking to in the Navy have home gyms, and that's how a lot of people that I've been talking to have been working out, because I'm having such a hard time getting in the gym.
I have a home, so I have a pretty decked out home gym in my garage, like weights, and I've got like it's pretty good. And I built that during COVID, like a little bit before COVID. I had a little bit.
Yeah.
But then during COVID, I was like, I gotta beef this shit up.
Yeah.
Because I was a rule follower. I didn't go to any gyms or nothing.
Yeah, they was trying to
I was a supple on a ship, and I'm big. Like everybody gonna know who I am.
Yep. Yeah.
I was scared. I was like,
they was catching people. Them sellers was catching people.
I was like,
CMC
I'm going. Yeah, they were getting CMCs like on Planet Fitness and shit down here. Like on like the carrier CMCs, like big dogs.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I beefed it up. But then, I think everybody should have a piece of cardio equipment at home. It's just like I got the Peloton I really like, but my wife, I bought her this like $150 like step treadmill where because like she doesn't run, she just wants to like walk. And it's not big and it's not bulky. You don't got to like worry about like getting upstairs. It's easy and it's cheap. And like she just walks, watches TV, like gets movement in. Because movement is so important. But if you just have it at your house, like it's just too easy. Like you can't miss, like you're not going to miss sessions. And I'm a big proponent of starting my day with a sweat. Like I have to sweat when I wake up in the morning for my mind. Like I'm so much sharper for my like day after that. Once I knock that out. So I always like to like I usually start off my morning Peloton.
Yeah. What's next for you after? I know you said like it's getting closer to your time to get out. And you're looking at, the end of the road, you're nostalgic, you're thinking back about like your career. What's next? You got plans already? You know what's next?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to keep doing my bodybuilding coaching Instagram thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good. Like I'll be fine like doing that and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, there's really like no transition for me, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like, it's also like easy because like I'm dual income, no kids. So it's like, I'm not really stressing a whole lot. I'm in a pretty good situation there because like I don't have to worry about like anybody be my wife, but she makes like, you know what I mean? So it's like, we're both at the point, we're very fortunate. Like, so she's a big swimmer. So we're like a big fitness family, like we're couple. So she's like a big, like she lifts and stuff, but like her big thing, like she's good at it, but she doesn't compete like for like physique stuff, but she does swimming. Like she's very good at swimming. And so that's always been her passion in life. And so now she's like getting her retirement and all that stuff. And she's coaching kids swimming. And like swim teams and shit. And she comes home like talking shit about all these kids, but like she's just so fucking happy. You know what I mean? I can just like see it in her, like she's complaining about them, but like she's really getting like a lot of fulfillment out of it.
Yeah.
And like I get the same thing out of the bodybuilding and like fitness. Like not just bodybuilding, but like I got like a lot of like clients and stuff I have or athletes, but like taking someone from like 400 pounds to like 200 pounds, like that's like,
that's fulfilling.
Like talk about like your life changing. Like it's just like gratifying being like part of that. Like just being like, kind of like responsible for helping that person just like completely just like change their life. Like imagine taking 200 pounds off your body, like putting 200 pounds on your like a backpack and then taking it off and just like how great that would feel.
Yeah.
Like,
I lost 90 before. So
you lost 90
before? Yeah. I gained.
Holy shit.
I gained something back. I gained weight back since then. But yeah, I lost like now. I was 270.
But like
I was 270 and I went down to 180.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I got married at 180. Yep.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Like that's work, man.
Yeah,
like that's a
work.
life.
Yeah, I was super
That's
consistent.
life. Yeah. Like you're changing like your like lifestyle, like 100%.
Yep. Then I went on my honeymoon and then I made Chief and because for me, like when I did lose it, and I ain't gonna stay here too long, but when I did lose it, the honeymoon, I gained 12 pounds on my honeymoon, right? Which I didn't work out every day. I started out working out on the honeymoon and then I stopped. But the 12 pounds gained, I went from 180 to like 192. I was still look just as fit as I did at like 180.
It's that gas. You just refilled your gas tank.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
Yeah. But what
happens when you overfill your gas tank? It spills into your fat.
Yep. And your behavior changes. Yeah. So then I made Chief. Like right after I came off the honeymoon, right after I come off the honeymoon, I get back like in the gym heavy. Like, hey, babe, honeymoon over. I slipped. I think I went crazy. Back in the gym heavy. And then I made Chief. And what happened with the Chief thing was everybody wasn't like doing the same thing as me as far as fitness. And so I had to slow down in my fitness.
You got detrained.
Yeah. And I would work out even before like we all went out there, but the Chief season is just so busy like that it stopped. Like I was like, the only time I could really get it in is when I'm with them. And then after that, I went into the Chief's mess. And somebody told me, they was like, hey man, like watch what you eat up in here. And I just fell victim, man. So now I've been trying to get back into fighting shape ever since then. You know what I mean? It's been
you know what the best advice I give to people? Like, you don't have to be fucking perfect.
Yeah.
But like, if you start your day off with a sweat and you bring your lunch and you eat breakfast and you bring your lunch to work.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, there's not a whole lot of room for mess up. Yeah. Like, you're gonna be you're marching the right way. It's where people veer off is like they don't have like a plan what they're eating, and you don't bring lunch to work. You're hungry. You go get the quick Burger King or Wendy's or whatever because it's easy and like you got to be quick and like that. And then you eat the Wendy's and you're like, yeah, I'm tired and groggy. I don't want to work out after work. I want to go to sleep. And so like it's just kind of like a thing. But like if you start your day off with a sweat and then you have your breakfast before you leave, and then you like have your lunch prepared, like. And then dinner, you can kind of like, even now, like when I like my like prep, like dinner's kind of like my last meal is kind of like a free thing.
Yeah.
I still keep it healthy, but like kind of what I feel like, or maybe a steak, maybe some salmon, maybe like some more potato, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, if you have those three things, like.
Yeah, because back when I did lose 90, I was prepping heavy. Now life is different. Like, it's like something else happens in life now. We just had a baby, right? So we get home and, my daughter won. So we getting home, even when you brought up like not having a baby, and I thought about it because I'm like, that's when my sneaker collecting stopped. Like when she got pregnant, I stopped collecting sneakers. But, we both get home close to 7. But me and my wife both get home close to 7. No earlier than 5:30, right? And that don't happen a lot, So now we got this 3 to 4, like I'm like, I got to go to sleep at 10 and I really never do. But we got like this 3 to 4 hour window to like prep for tomorrow, right? Like feed the baby, do things. So it's like just this. And then on the weekends where you like, I want to do a million things. You also like, hey, I want to relax a little bit and chill out. We don't have to take the baby to daycare and stuff like that. So, because we both work, we do income, but then we got the baby and daycare prices. Daycare prices ain't no joke. It's damn near, my daycare price is about $200 less than a mortgage.
Shit.
And my mortgage I live in the DC area. My mortgage ain't that low. So my daycare price is about $2. And the daycare is in smack dab in the middle of DC. So,
shit.
Yeah, so then they don't play no games. We thought when she turned 1, it was going to get cheaper. They don't play no games with us. One of the things I did want to ask you about was your leadership philosophy. And I know we probably talked around it a little bit, but I just wanted to directly ask if you actually had like a fleshed out leadership philosophy.
Philosophy or like what my characteristic or style is?
What your characteristic or style is, let's say that.
So leading by example.
Yeah.
Authentic. And then I'm charismatic. Those are like my 3 like strong points that I kind of always kind of lean to. And it kind of comes from like my sports background, I feel like. But I feel like every leader, you always gotta kind of have your like strengths, right? And so, but that's not always gonna work. So you gotta be able to kind of adapt to the scenario, the environment, and all the other like variables that come into play. Like you can't just have one. You gotta be able to adapt as a leader is what I'm trying to say. Because like you might be like you might be the LC, like the CMC of a ship, right? And then when you first get there, like the vibe might be different than like a year later. And so you're going to and your personnel are going to be different, like people you lean on. And then like people are also going to grow and like you got to kind of evolve basically or die. But right. Adapt or die. Like that's the way this world is, man. And especially in the Navy as a leader, you got to adapt. And so I think that's really my like characteristic. I would say philosophy wise, I don't know. Like, what do you mean by like philosophy? If you had to like give me an example.
So mine is care, right? Mine is care. That's like my philosophy is care. And it's an acronym, right? Contribute, ask, be rooted in reality, and enhance, right? And then it's not my episode to break down what it all means, so I won't. But hey, I want you to contribute. Do you contribute? Like, what do you add to the team? And for me, contribute is like, there's no end state to contribute. Like, cause like we've been talking about, like, especially me right now, I'm not coming to work every day with a full tank. Like I'm not coming to work at 100%. I'm probably didn't get as much sleep as I wanted because I got a brand new baby. This, that. So I'm not at 100%. I might be at like 85%. But can I give the best that I have out of the 85 that I'm working with today? Yes. So did I contribute? Yes. Ask. And that's like the most shortened version of that philosophy that I ever gave. It's for the podcast. If I was talking to one of my sellers, we'd be blessing this out for like 40 minutes. Ask is just ask. Like ask questions. Like we see a lot of people fail just from lacking that question, right? And I was like, if you're not sure, ask. If you're not sure, ask. Like you just don't know what you don't know, right? So that's like my second one is ask questions. And my third one is the most important one for me is like being rooted in reality. And even if we're looking at this podcast or whatever it is, I want to have like realistic connections. I want to have realistic conversations with my sellers. I want them to be able to feel real when they talk to me. Like they don't got to be like, have this like super duper Navy seller representative when they come talk to me just because of my role.
That's why I like you, man. Because you're easy to like. I don't like. You're a person.
Yeah. And that's and that's how. And when they come talk to me, and then the second part of the realistic part for me is like, I want you to help me. I want us to help each other. So I always say like, make it make sense, right? So this is what I tell them. I say, hey, when you come, and I tell them when they check into the command, I'm like, when you come to me, let's say I tell you to do something, you have leverage over me. Most of my sellers are MAs, right? So I'm like, that's leverage that you have. I'm not an MA, so you got rate knowledge. I'm like, the other like very most important leverage that you have over me is you got like on the deck plate, like conversational experience with sellers that's like your age. Like, I don't have that. Like, when sellers come talk to me, it's normally I'm their command senior chief, right? Even if I'm talking to them about sports, it's still I'm their command senior chief talking to them about sports. I am not like, they're not looking at me like I'm their peer. So it's certain things and ways that sellers feel that like I won't know. But when I'm talking to another seller, they have that leverage over me because they talk to those sellers every day. I remember being at E5 and telling like a chief, like, hey, the seller's not, they not going to want to do that. And the chief like, what? I'm like, yeah, they ain't going to want to do that. Like, I've just talked to them. Like, he's like, well, they ain't tell me that. They won't tell you that. Like, yeah, they like you, they love you, but they won't tell you that part of it. You know what I mean? So let's look at it like this. And then the E part for me is just enhance. Like, what do you do to make things better? But honestly, with the E part flipped to me, what it flipped to later for me was like, how do we improve ourselves? You know, and then I always tell the sellers, like, look at the iPhone. If you get an iPhone and about 2 weeks after you buy it or a day after you buy it, what it's going to do? It's going to have an update, an iOS update. It's going to improve bugs. And I always tell them like, so in 17 years, if you get a brand new iPhone, fully realized by this time, and it's still finding ways to improve itself, you know, why is it so hard for you to find ways to improve yourself or something?
Adapt or die.
Yeah, you know. And so that's my philosophy. So that's why I was wondering if you might not have one. You know, you might not have ever. I
don't have like an acronym or like a saying, but like my biggest thing I learned as a leader recently was learning how to lead without your rank. Like, I don't like what I did. Like, I didn't act like I was like a lieutenant commander. Like, when I'm around, I speak to everyone like they're a person and they're a human being, because everybody was a person, a human being before they joined the Navy. Yeah. And so they're not going to, like you said, they're not going to come to me with problems. They're not going to come to me with good ideas if I'm not approachable and I'm not relatable. Yeah. So I really try to make myself very approachable and relatable, because the best ideas, like some of the best ideas I've ever got were from like that FSA cranking. Yeah. Or that sailor that like just came in the Navy, because they're doing it. They're seeing the good and bad things of the ideas from people like me that aren't doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Yep. So like, it's just, there's so much great stuff I got from feedback. And that's just from me, like going around and I go into spaces, right? I'm not like, I act like I'm not doing a zone inspection and I'm just trying to like be cool and create conversation, but I'm doing a zone inspection on that sailor and in my space, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But and so they don't know that I'm really trying to get their feedback, but because I'm just talking to them like I'm up, that skill of coming at them to where they're comfortable talking about me. And I'm like a bigger guy and shit. And so like I can be kind of intimidating, I feel like. Mm-hmm. So I've kind of like tried to I learned that myself too, where I was a little bit too intimidating when I was a department head as a lieutenant. I felt like, I didn't mean to. It wasn't like I was doing it on purpose. It's just like, I know I can come off like that with my face and shit like that and my size and all that. And especially to like a 19-year-old sailor, like, you know what I mean? Like coming to their space, like, what the fuck are you, like, you know what I mean? So like, I really just kind of like, how do I do this? Like, cause like the rank's cool and all that stuff. And like rank gets you a courtesy, but it doesn't give you the respect.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're going to call me, like, if we see each other, you're going to salute. That's a courtesy. Yeah. You're going to say, good morning, sir. That's a courtesy. But that respect part, like, you got to earn.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to earn that respect. And it's not going to happen right when I walk in the room the first time I talk to them at a quarters or something like that when they're at in ranks, right? It's going to happen by them slowly building trust with them. And you know what I mean? So like, that's kind of my, like, it's like a very long-winded answer, but that's how I like to lead. I like to lead getting to know the people.
Yeah, on that. And that's that R for me, that realistic, that just realistic level, you know? The last thing that I do have about when I do check my sellers is I talk a lot about like the things I did while I was in the Navy that didn't have anything to do with the Navy, right? And I do that for a reason. And that's what I like about your page and what you got going on. And I try to tell them like, hey, Clark Kent and Superman is the same dude like all the time. Like the uniform, you know, Clark Kent, he still got every power that he has with the Superman suit on, right? And I tell him that because I see a lot of sellers get bitter when I see a lot of sellers get bitter, I think it's when they're losing themselves in the job, right? And do the job, do the best that you could do at the job. But if you play the piano, you write poetry, you a rapper, you do art, whatever it is you do, I don't think you should suppress it because you have a career in the Navy. Like you could still, and that's like my philosophy, like you could still be both. Don't dim that other light. And a lot of time that light is what make people special. For instance, you went back to like your roots in sports like 16 different times in this conversation because your roots in sports is what contributes to who you are as a leader. You know, my roots in being a creator, like I made music before I joined the Navy, throughout my time in the Navy, and I got a career in cinematography now. So I've always been a creator. You know, that helped me when it came to dealing with people and relationships and stuff like that now as a leader. You know, I would be a completely different person if I wasn't.
That's why, so I'm glad you brought that up. Like, that's why I like sailors to be themselves and express that, because I'm going to go back to sports, but like the greatest teams aren't all Michael Jordans. It's not 5 Michael Jordans. It was Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman. Like you guys got the guy doing the defense, you got a guy who the score, but they all came together and made something very special. But if you got all the same person and all the same talent, it doesn't work. So I like to like you said, you're a creator. So I like to be able to like know that about it because I get to know them. Like I get to know you. Yep. And I'm like, okay, he's creative. I'm going to put him on this because this is where he's going to thrive because this is his natural strengths. And so like, that's why getting to know the people is so great. Because I don't think a lot of people invest time in like getting to know the people's like strength, like to know that you're a creator and that like I played baseball and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, and so I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. Because like, and that's why I like people like to be themselves because I get to know them and I get to know their strengths. Yeah. And like, everybody's bringing something unique. Like I'm a kid from Southern California. Where are you from?
I'm from Philly.
From Philly, right? So like 2 completely different coast to coast, but we're both going to bring something special based off what I learned growing up in Southern California, the way I did, and the way you grew up in Philly, the way you did.
Yep.
Right. And so like, it's just, it's team building, but it really boils down to getting to know the person.
Yep. And the other thing, I said the last thing was the last thing, but the other thing that I asked my people, and it's probably funny, and maybe I'm giving some people some sauce right now, I don't know. But I ask them about their relationship status. when I'm checking them in, I ask them if, and some people might not like that, but I ask them if they dating. I tell them that they don't have to answer the question. They can say no.
Yeah.
But that helps me a lot. That helps me a whole lot. To know if you out on the prowl, if you're in a relationship, if you're in a long distance relationship. For me, that helps me understand people. And like, even for me, like, man, like having a kid now and then going back to when I didn't have a kid, and like my first class who had a kid was like, hey, Chief, you don't understand, like this is going on at the house. And now like when I really think, it's like I did not understand. Like now I do. My kid is sick. My kid in daycare, she's sick almost every other day. You know what I mean? So it gives me like empathy, like understand. Like I got one seller who came and was like, hey, I'm in a long distance. The person I'm with, they in a school, and they just went to a whole nother coast. So they on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. So now I already know, like I already get some things like, okay, so you're not seeing the person you with for this amount of time. They going through the indoctrination period at their command, same time as you. When you hit up the command and you want to go on this leave and you want to go to Cali, I get how important that is for you at that time. So I do ask them, and I tell them like, yo, I'm not prying. You can say no, but are you dating? Are you married? Whatever. And then, normally most people have said, yeah. I never ask them like who they're dating, or is it a man or a woman. I just, hey, are you dating? And most people are okay with sharing. And then we really have a real good conversation after that. Like I start talking about my wife. They start talking about like their, my boy with the A school girlfriend. Like we have had a great conversation. He like, I know.
I hope that one works out.
Yeah,
the odds are stacked against him.
Yeah. He was like, I know. See you. Hey, so the last question, and then I got my do better in the book. The last question I got is like, what was your, like, I want to say like biggest mistake, but it could be like biggest mistake or worst decision or like the most nervous you felt or whatever. But like biggest mistake you made as a leader. Or worst experience, matter of fact, worst experience as a leader. Yeah, that was
made quite a few mistakes trying to figure out which one. What was that last one you said? I'm sorry.
What was your worst experience as a leader? Yeah, that one.
This wasn't like the worst experience I ever had was like not getting this. I had the sailor that worked for me when I was a division officer on the Truman, and we were underway, but it was like a Com 2X, like off the coast of like North Carolina, Florida type stuff. So the ability to get home was like good. And he had like his kid was getting, like his firstborn was getting about to be bad, and I couldn't get him. I couldn't sell it to where I could leave him home at Beachstead, and like that was I was just like I was like a JG. I was like a JG, and like I just didn't step on it hard enough.
Yeah,
and like I was never a father, so like I didn't realize the importance of it. And I kind of just went with like, it's this command policy or whatever, which it was, but like, I know I could have found a way to like have them Beachstead as supply, especially like, working at the warehouse, like, helping out. And I just didn't sell it. And it was because I didn't care enough.
Yeah.
And like, and I was also like, like when you're junior, like, I'm having to go brief like an 05 about this, and like been a lot of questions, and then like me pushing back. Maybe I didn't have like the balls like I do now.
Yeah.
And that just comes up with like growing up. But like I really wish I would have just like attacked that at like a more aggressive way, and came more prepared when I briefed my bosses. So now I know like what I kind of have to bring to the table to support something like that, to sell it.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have it. And I didn't have that like knowledge and like the tact to be able to do it, the tact to be able to like brief it the way I should have. But, it sucked because I saw how fucking mad, disappointed it was. And like, you know, when your dog, I don't know if you have dogs. Do you have dogs?
Yeah, I got a dog, a little dog.
I always ask people if they got dogs too. But you know when they give you the side eye?
Yeah.
I was getting the side eye when I was walking and I couldn't say shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be like, yeah, look at, you know what I mean? I'm just like, fuck. Yeah. And so it was like, I needed to like, now I make it like a real priority to like handle like personal situations like that. Cause like the way the Navy's built, it's built on redundancy. Like if any person's gone, like we're still going to do well. So like, that's the whole reason, like all the shit we do is so like if one person's gone, it's just, you just pick right. Like when I retire, like when I stepped off the ship, my last ship, I stepped off and like, it was a pretty important job. I was charged all the fucking services on aircraft carrier. The cranes are still going. There's still a working party bringing down all the chips in the storeroom. It didn't miss a fucking beat, man. The bell's still, petty officer watch still fucking doing his shit. Yeah. Divers over the side. And I was just like, yeah, they're good, you know? Yeah. And so I just realized that like, yeah, I got to take care of my people better.
I went through,
and I was new. I was like I was prior enlisted or whatever, but I was a new division officer, so it's a whole different game. You know, I need to give a shit better. That's all.
I was just gonna say, sometimes you get to thinking about like yourself, and like what the repercussions would be if you push so hard. Because when I was a brand new chief on my first ship as a chief, something very similar happened. I had a seller wanted to go on leave. I saw this seller crying before this seller wanted to go on leave. And I kind of connected the two. Like, yo, she must be crying. And I couldn't get her, I couldn't convince my department to get her to go on leave because it was an inspection coming up. She was brand new though. Like, and she was brand new out of boot camp, did not go on leave after boot camp, came straight to the ship. Major inspection coming up that's going to have engineering like kind of busy, but she was going to be like a active hand. Like she wasn't a part yet of the department that was going to have her. But the thing was, hey, we need everybody here, one team, one fight. And it got to a point of contingency because I was fighting it. Like, so it got to this point of contingency, and the way that the conversation was had, then it got to this, it was like, well, if that's what you want to do, Chief, then do it. And it felt like one of those, when your wife tell you, you know, all right, we'll do it. And you know you shouldn't do it. So I backed up. I could have just did it and said, I don't care how they feel after this. She's going on leave, but I backed out of it. And
it's like that. It's like, you got to think yourself as a leader. Is this the hill I'm willing to die on?
Yeah, that's what it was.
And I just feel like when it comes to like operational shit or like, you know, work shit, like standard work shit, like I'm not willing to die on a lot of hills, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But when it comes to people, like I was like, I need to be willing to die on that hill more.
Yeah. And that's me. That's been me ever since. Like, I don't care. Like, if it's got to do with people, then you're gonna have to take me down, man. Like, you know, you're gonna have to take me down because I'm fighting for my people all the time. All right. So last two things, and we get up out of here. You familiar with our Do Better segment, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a Do Better?
Fuck. Yeah. I'm willing to die on that hill.
You got to be careful. We had the last officer, we had a commander on here, like lieutenant commander. He's like, hey, I got to be careful, man. Watch what I, you know, but a lot of times it's things that we need to do better or think, you know, so.
I'm just going to go I'm going to kind of pinpoint like the officer community here. Like, we need to do better at detailing leaders to like positions of leadership. Like, I feel like the process, because like the way we like there's like boards and shit, right? And like you go to you get selected to go to jobs. It's like the higher you go in officer, especially like the bigger ship tours.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we're failing a lot of sailors about putting people there's, like I said, there's staff officers and then there's like leading officers. Staff officers are definitely needed. They go sit in a cubicle at Admiral in the Pentagon and do great fucking things. But not everybody was meant to be on that fucking level of like on a ship in charge of fucking leaders, because they got a lot of people that, like I said, are they willing to die on the hill for their people? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of fucking people, especially officers, that are willing not. They are policy fucking followers, and they don't know how to deviate from that because they want to keep on going up. Yeah. And so they don't want to die on that hill. So I think that we need to do better at giving back. Because, like, why are all these jobs and all, like, why are people in the Pentagon at ADMOV? Or like all these shore duty billets or all these staff officers? What is everybody in the Department of Navy working on? They're working for that sailor on the fucking deck plate on that DDG going on deployment. 19 years old. That's what all those bases, all those buildings and shit you see on a base, that is what they are all there for that fucking sailor on that DDG. Right out of high school, out of boot camp, and they need help, man. They're there. I want to do this. I want to better my life. I want to serve my country. I am joining the Navy because I want to better myself. And there are not enough people that are looking out for that person because they want to not die on a hill.
Yeah.
Is that a good do better? I don't know.
It is. And
was it?
Yeah, it is. And I see.
Because I was like straight up with that one.
Yeah.
And so like,
and I've seen it. I know exactly what you're talking about. So it definitely is. I know exactly what you're talking about. And we forget about that a lot. That we doing it for these sellers. We forget about that a lot. In a lot of different buildings, we forget about that. So yes.
The buildings, the fucking building. And it blows my mind that they don't know that that's their why. And so like, fuck.
Yeah. I love that one. Yeah. I actually love that one. All right, my book. I got a book. I don't know if you got a book, but I do have a book. My book recommendation, or my book of the week for the listeners, is called Good Energy. Good Energy: The Surprising Connection Between Metabolism and Limitless Health, by Casey Means and Callie Means.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
you got like a nutrition one?
Yeah. Hey man,
I love that shit.
Yeah, and it's one of the best books I've ever read in my life.
Was it an easy read? Was it like you could kind of like keep?
It's an easy.
Yeah.
So it's an easy read. However, in the beginning of it, because for these metabolism and health books, they normally got to set the stage on like from a health standpoint. So, and these are both doctors. So for like a little bit of the book, they get into like the reason, like the way things work, right? The way your body works. So some of it is like some medical jargon in the beginning. Some of it is health jargon, but some of it you probably already know about based off the subject matter that you know about, right? So you might understand more of that than me. But after they get all that out the way, so you can understand what they talk, like the knee bone connected to the leg bone, like after they get all that out the way, and she just start killing it as far as recommendations. I mean, it's a beautiful book. She start talking about like how her mom died of like the stage 4 cancer that she didn't know she had till like a month before. But she was constantly in hospitals. She was pretty healthy, but she had quite a few prescriptions. She always saw doctors. It's like, why didn't the doctor see this stuff? And then she started digging into like health and things that we can do, things that we can eat, and things that we need to know to make our life better. And so I got the audio book, so it's attached to she got like a workbook with recipes, and different like things and like facts, like spreadsheets and stuff about this. I can honestly say, if somebody, like, I stopped eating cereal after I read this book. I haven't eaten cereal since.
Cereal's fucked.
Right.
It's so fucked.
Right. And the way she broke it down, I haven't eaten cereal since I read this book.
It will scare you once you know what cereal is.
Yeah. She made me scared. She made me scared. That, and then like even like some of the things we spray around our house. Like it's some things she said that made so much sense.
I love that shit, but sometimes like I don't want to know all that shit. Like it's like fuck, because then you end up being like, you're like, how am I gonna live? Like I gotta live in a fucking tent in a fucking forest. Like shit.
Did you watch did you see the trailer about the dude, like the billionaire dude that's like trying to live like forever?
Yeah,
did you see that shit? So it's like it's this billionaire dude. It's on Netflix too. It's called
Netflix.
It's called Don't Die, I think. It's this dude here, billionaire. I don't know how old he is. And he trying to live forever. This dude taking like 300 pills a day. He waking up, he getting like this illumination on it. I'm like, yo, what if you get hit by a car? Like God forbid, right? But what if
I know.
And he probably won't, he probably won't like live forever, but he doing all this stuff. So you're right about that. But yeah, she talk about like essential oils and like the things you can and can't. Like that all natural thing is like a scam on like some things, So she's like going through all of that stuff. And it's like you take from it as you want. But what she said about cereal, man, I ain't get a bowl of, and she was talking about Cheerios.
Yeah, like that, like what you think are healthy cereals.
Yeah.
It's the way they process it, man. Like the grains and shit.
That's what she
What I tell people, like the quickest advice, if you just shop around the perimeter of the grocery store, like you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's when you get in those aisles.
Yeah. She was talking about processed food. I haven't had a granola bar since I read this book, man.
Yeah. Granola bars will fuck your ass up too. Yeah. Like what you think's healthy? Like it's labeled healthy because it says keto on it or some shit?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. So I still got things that I need to get better at, but like I'm trying to train my brain a little bit too now. Last time I lost like 90 pounds, I was training my body. But I'm trying to train my brain so I understand more and I make better choices like dietary even before I start going real hard, like working out. I'm trying to do that now as a process for me, especially because I'm getting older. I'm about to be 40. So it's some things I need to do better. Like I can't eat Popeyes every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and that's also like you're setting yourself up for something that's sustainable.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's what you want.
Yeah.
Right. And like all that, like how you look, like you could look great in the mirror or in like a picture or some shit, but you could be like dying inside, look really bad. So like, it's not just about macros, like macronutrients, carbs, fats, protein. It's a lot about the micronutrients and like what's in like the full ingredient list too.
Yeah.
And so like you said, I'm getting older too. So like I'm much more involved in like that like inner like health aspect. And you also like feel better too. Like, like, when you kind of start like getting rid of those like red dyes, and blue dyes and all that shit, like you start feeling a little better. So like, you don't do all of it at once, but I think what you're doing by looking at this stuff, because you're like educating yourself, you're setting yourself up for sustainable things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus like a crash diet where you're just gonna get it all back anyway.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I'm too. It don't happen as fast. I'm too old now. It used to happen fast when I was in my 20s. I go run 5 miles. I go lose 4 pounds.
Hey, look up. Look, I'm not gonna like get nerdy on this, but look, Google like or start researching like how to increase your stomach acid.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm writing it down.
Because once you like, that's like the key, like your gut health. And that's like everything starts in your gut. Yeah. So like it affects your mental health. It affects like a lot of shit. And so like if that's off, which it usually is at like some age, because like it's a lot of years of eating, you're going to get more bacteria and organisms, or you might be imbalanced or whatever. But it's because of the stomach acid ends up declining. So that's why like you don't have gut issues when you're like a kid. Like you digest everything because they're like your stomach acid is like a dog. You just eat whatever you want. Yeah. It's just like, yeah. So like I've researched that. Or you hit me up. I
will. I think I will. She did. She talked a lot about that. She talked about glucose. She talked so much stuff, yo. Like I said, it's called Good Energy. Now, my question is, do you have a book recommendation?
Yeah, but I just forgot the name of it. Can I look on my Amazon cart real quick? Yeah. I was like, shit. It's a really good book. It's like a leadership book. It's written by like a CEO, but it kind of gets down to like your why and like as a leader. It doesn't get into like X's and O's. It's more of like how to build your organization, like not like with like a plan, but like why are you wanting to be here for your people, like type shit. And so like it's kind of right up my alley with how I kind of lead. Mm-hmm. And like it's not like an MBA book or like it's called The Motive. Why? Yeah, it's called The Motive. Hold up, my Amazon going a little slow. The Motive: Why So Many Leaders Abdicate Their Most Important Responsibilities.
Okay.
So it kind of goes about like how you should kind of like what you need to be looking at to like own and like do versus like delegate. And like, it's just like, it was like, wow. And I read that before I went on my last shift. And I was just like, yeah, I'm the smartest fucking person on this boat right now.
I'm gonna check it out.
I read it. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I think you would like it. You seem like a person that would take that shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that shit out. Hey, man. Yeah. Hey, I really like this conversation. It was a good one. I'm glad we got you. It's National Compliment Day today.
Oh,
so I definitely appreciate, getting you on. I appreciate the conversation we had. Always like it when it ain't too many like written up Shannon Sharp style questions where it's just, hey, let's kind of go dig into this topic a little deeper than we might have. So I appreciate the bodybuilding.
Yeah, those are the best.
Yeah.
I asked you, I was like, yeah, what are we talking about? You're like, yeah, we're just going to free ball. I'm like, all right, that's perfect.
Yeah, that was me. That was me that you was talking to. That was me who said that.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's right up my alley. Those are the best ones.
Man. So I appreciate it, man. Whenever you want to come on, you got an open invite. Please come through, man.
Hell yeah. I had a great time.
Yeah, and you are our first guest on this new platform. Oh, here's Tisha. Hey, Tisha, we're saying goodbye.
That's what I heard. I was like, damn, I'm coming in. At least I get to say goodbye. So thank you for stopping by and kicking it with us.
Thank you guys for having me. I like what you guys are doing. And like, it's refreshing to me to see that like there's people like in the mess on the deck plates that are like talking and giving a shit about this. You know what I mean? Like the top is I can see it. Like it's refreshing that there's the people out there that give a shit. And I'm like, this is good. And so I would like to pump you guys up, get as many people eyeballs and ears as we can on this, because I think it's very good. Like this is the way you can connect to more people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's the wave of the future. It's authentic. And what you guys are doing is a great thing. And I know it's not easy. It's time consuming and all the editing and stuff like that. But like it is appreciated by me and many more out there. So keep it going.
Yeah. So all y'all sellers, the people suppo. You know what I'm saying? Get up out our damn DMs.
Right.